Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Oh, Kimber. Kimber heard somebody.
Get her over with.
Somebody.
What did I tell you during the show? I made the mistake of saying I'd take Zion over Kimba right now. What did I say? I jinxed myself. And what happened at Charlotte last night? DeMar DeRozan happened. He had the ball in his hands with a chance to win the game at the end of regulation, and he... That's what happens.
Hold on.
That's what happens when you have a Toronto Raptor on this.
But did you have overtime?
Yep. And you know what? Kimba went mini MJ on my Spurs. Because he's mini MJ. That's who he is.
You lighted it up. How you know today, Skip?
I'm not great.
You won't be.
How are you?
Are you sure?
Well, I lost
surprised.
the game. But my Spurs will cruise into the playoffs.
Don't
Want to bet on that?
No, don't do that.
You want to bet on it?
Eighth right
Do
now.
you? Okay, you want to bet on it?
Half a game.
Huh?
Let me see.
Half a game?
I'll talk to you on Friday after y'all lose
How about let's bet 10 cases of Diet Mountain Dew right here, right now that my Spurs make the playoffs?
10?
Just as simple as that. Just make or miss for 10 cases.
Nope.
Thank you. Next
you
question.
You want advance.
Moving
Next
on.
question.
Okay, we have more to get to about Zion today. Are we ready to put him in the Hall of Fame?
Oh my goodness.
And should everyone jump on the Browns bandwagon? But let's start with a shocker from the NFL. There was a big change in the rule book yesterday. NFL owners approved a rule that will allow offensive and defensive pass interference, including plays where a flag wasn't thrown, to be reviewed. This is a direct result of the non-call in the NFC Championship game, which Sean Payton has been lobbying for. The new rule will allow coaches to challenge these plays until the final 2 minutes of each half. Then a replay official can take a look after that. The change was approved 31-1, but for now, it will only be around for next season. Shannon, are you shocked by this rule change?
Shock would be an understatement. And Skip, I'm going to use a few cliches here because I believe they've opened Pandora's box. They've chosen to go down this slippery slope, and there's no putting the genie back in the bottle. There was a play and we're going to talk about this because you harped on this play so much, the Bradley Roby play, and that now it's sin. But there's a play that happened in the Super Bowl that might have changed the way we look at this, but moving forward. Skip, the problem that I have is that they basically said because PI is a spot foul, they used it, says, well, this is the most punitive of all the plays.
Well, isn't it?
It is.
Okay.
It is. But so what about defensive holding? Does that not mean anything? Because if I'm a coach, Skip, this is what I'm going to do moving forward. I'm not even worried about the first or second quarter. I'm saving all my challenges. I'm saving them for the fourth quarter because I know I'm going to get one. Because this thing, I think I've gotten off the field. We played great defense, and my wide receiver comes, coach, he grabbed me. He passed it, he PI'd me. Challenge. And then, and I know what Skip Bayless is going to say. There's going to be some calls this year, Jenny. I know him. I know this man very, very well. That's a play on. You've got to let him play. Oh, no, you don't got to let them play. You wanted this.
Okay, you can challenge and be wrong, too.
You could be, but I can challenge him to be right. What you going to, Skip, what you going to do in Hail Marys? Now, that's going to be a nightmare. Now, at the end of the half and at the end of the game when guys are just throwing the ball up, now you're going to get the ball on the 1 yard line with a chance to get a touchdown.
Did they blow that call in the New Orleans game? Yes. Everybody in the known world, I don't know about the unknown world, but the known world, everybody, including my dog Hazel, thought that was a bad call. Am I right?
It was a bad call.
It was the all-time worst call.
It was an egregious call.
Can it be fixed? No, it cannot be fixed. Can it now be fixed?
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, DJ Healy, can you drop that track from the Super Bowl? There's a play I want Skip Bayless to see from the Super Bowl that this would have been PI. Do we have? Hold on. What we thought was a great play would have been PI, and the ball would have been right there, Skip Bayless.
I'm not even sure about that.
I'm
not sure. I'm not sure. That's a debatable one. That's a 50-50.
No, they've already said
will the known world say that's pass interference? I don't think so.
I'm just telling you what came out of yesterday's meeting.
All right, okay.
That play would have been a PI, and the ball.
You don't know that for sure.
That's what they said.
No, they didn't. They said you can challenge it.
Skip.
Well, now they're going to look at it and they'll say, well,
Armbar.
it's close.
Armbar.
It's close.
PI 7-7. Yeah. We got a different ball game, so I don't know. Super Bowl 53 might be
All right,
tainted.
was that the last play of the game?
Skip.
No.
Huh. Stop.
Okay, I'm going to give you that. If I were upstairs in the booth as the sky judge, we don't have a sky judge yet, but if I could replay that call, I would say that's pass interference, and I would give you first and goal at the whatever it was.
If you don't mind me asking, was that play in the New Orleans game, was that the last play of the game?
It would have been.
No, it wouldn't.
Well, I mean, it would have ended the game.
But you had a chance. You said you were supposed to overcome that, but that's neither here nor there. The problem that I have, Skip, if especially, and they said Coach Belichick, Andy Reid, Jason Garrett really got behind Sean Payton. But you know, Skip, a lot of it has to do with, you look at the guys who they have at tight end. If I'm Gronk, I'm coming back. How do you officiate Gronk now, Skip, with this rule in place? How? It was already talking about, well, he's like Shaq because he's so hard to officiate. Is it offensive pass interference? Is it defensive pass interference? Skip, I don't really like the subjective nature of this. And you limit it to just PI. So, in other words, defensive holding or illegal contact, because those are game-changing plays also, Skip, for the simple fact they give you first downs and give teams another 3 cracks at you. So that's the problem that I have, is that it's just limited to this. If we're going to be able to challenge PI, can we not challenge defensive holding, offensive holding?
We have to start somewhere. So we start with the most egregious of all the penalties, the most punitive of all the penalties.
Yes.
Over the last 3 years, pass interference made up only 9% of the flags thrown, only 9%. But guess what? They made up 70% of plays that were most impactful on your winning chances, right? So 70%, because they are impactful.
Right.
They change games because it's not the college rule, right?
Right.
The college rule is it's just 15 yards. Sure. So if you get beat, in college, you just reach out and grab the guy and say, I'll take the 15 yards versus this touchdown.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
But this can be a 99-yard penalty, right? Effectively, if you could throw it 99 yards, you could have a 99-yard penalty. So point is that I started campaigning for this the moment we opened our show the day after the championship games, because I just want it to maybe not be right, but righter than it was. Because the way it was before, there was no fail-safe. There was no stopgap. There was no checks and balances on a play like that. You couldn't correct it. At least now, and again, it's just for a year they're going to try it, but I think it will be instituted long-term and permanently.
Are you going to give the officials slow-mo eyes? Are you going to give them slow motion eyes? Because everything looks bad in slow motion. You know that, right?
Well, you get it right in slow motion is what you get.
Skip!
Okay, but you can be deceived by real motion, real time, because they all got deceived. They all missed the most egregious non-call, the worst blown call in the history of sports.
Skip, 3 of the officials couldn't have called it. The umpire, the referee, and the side judge on the other side couldn't have made that call. Okay. But they did miss it.
I told you from the start you were on the wrong side of this as a Hall of Famer. And I'm sure a bunch of Hall of Famers who are more old school, who are clinging to the way the game is, it's got human error involved in it, and it's just the way football is. And I kept saying, well, I'm new school on this one because I just want it to get as right as it can get. And those owners, they didn't pleasantly surprise me. They pleasantly shocked me yesterday because they all pulled their heads out of the Arizona sand. They're in Phoenix, and they finally made a big, bold change to fix the National Football League and to protect it, maybe to save it from allegations that the games are fixed. Because now that there's more public betting, more legalized betting on pro football, you know and I know that these are the calls where you say, did the refs, are they bought off for this game? And now they can't be, quote unquote, bought off because we have a system in place whereby we review these penalties. And if it's blatantly obvious, obviously there are some calls where you just say, you know what, we all agree. They missed that one. So upstairs, they can do a collective group think on this. You know what? We missed that one. If it's 50-50, that one in the Super Bowl is more 50-50 to me. I'm with you on it, but I don't know. You have to have indisputable evidence.
Well, once I see him armbar, it's indisputable.
Okay, well then that's fine. Okay, well then let's get it right. Then I'm with you. Let's save the game from itself. Let's do it.
I think myself and some of the other Hall of Famers are looking and questioning, how much more beneficial do you want to make it for the offenses? It's already scaled so heavily in their favor. That's why you see the inflated numbers that we're starting to see. So now this is just another element, Skip, that's weighted towards the offense.
Okay. Is it right? Make it right. We have the technology in place. Our fans are now so sophisticated, they have so much technology at their fingertips that they can see what the refs aren't seeing on the field instantaneously.
Yeah, they have the luxury of replay.
Okay? Let's use it. Let's use what we have in 2019, right? 2019, we're all the way up to here, and we had that play happen. That play marred and tainted the Super Bowl.
No, it didn't.
It did. It sent the wrong team to the Super Bowl. And you can't tell me that ratings weren't marred and tainted to some degree by the fact that most people just threw up their hands and said, that league can't get that call right?
13-3.
It's the National Football League.
13-3 marred that Super Bowl.
No, I'm talking about going in. Some people turned it off before they turned it on.
I'm sure a lot of the fans that are New Orleans fans were very disappointed and said, I'm not watching.
Okay.
But I believe that even though the ratings were down as a whole, not just in New Orleans, if that game would have been more interesting, Skip Bayless, more people would have tuned in.
I was on the edge of my seat the whole way. It wasn't over.
Because you were on the edge of your seat because you wanted the Patriots to win. You weren't thinking that this game is interesting.
Well, a lot of people who bet on the game or had some rooting interest, they all have some reason to be rooting.
But
they wanted Brady to lose.
Okay, but was the game interesting? No, it wasn't.
I was fascinated. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart.
Jenny said she fell asleep on her couch.
I believe you were. No, but the majority of people.
Until Zerline missed that field goal at the end, right? That's when I finally said, okay, it's over. Finally, it's over. It was 3-3 mid-fourth quarter. And again, I don't care if it's 33-33.
Yes.
I don't. Whoops, I just lost my watch.
Yeah, when it's cheap like that, that's what happens.
It's not cheap.
Yes, it is. That's
Riled
what
up. You're too riled up about it.
Seiko.
I told you I get riled up.
They still make those?
They were pretty bored at times.
They still make Seikos?
They still make them.
Yeah.
Want to go with me to buy one right now? If you'll buy it for me. Yeah.
I had one of those in like
I'm
the 7th
not sure
grade.
your check will cover the Seiko.
I'll take one too.
Skip, for me, look, I get it, Skip. You want to get the play. You want to get as many plays as you possibly can right, many calls as you possibly can right. But I just believe there's still a human element of the ball game, and you can't get. And I know what's going to happen. It's going to happen, and you know it's going to happen. There are going to be some calls that go against these coaches, and this is the game of football, and you got to let them play, and that's a play on.
You mentioned 3 coaches were behind this movement.
Yes.
Guess how many were ultimately behind it?
Oh, all of them.
How about 32 of them? This was 32 coaches banding together and saying, we have to have this. And for the first time I can ever remember in the history of league meetings, this was the opposite, where the coaches forced a new rule on the owners. It's always the owners forcing a rule change on the unwanted rule change on coaches who are throwing up their hands saying, you can't do that to us.
But Skip,
they don't have final say.
But you remember, like immediately after and the week leading into the Super Bowl, you had a lot of coaches like, hey, that's just the human element of the game. You had a lot of owners saying, look, you can't be perfect. Even Roger Goodell stood up at his end of the year conference and said, there's a human element of the ball game. You can't be right 100% of the time. And then he did a 180. He's like, we have the technology, and our job is to make sure we get these plays. Okay, you had the technology.
He was saying what he thought his owners wanted him to say.
And they were.
And all of a sudden, under pressure from 32 unanimous coaches, all of a sudden they voted yesterday, and they said the competition committee, it's eight on that, that it was 4-4 going to Phoenix, and that somehow it went 8-0, which influenced the owners to go 31-1. I'm going to guess, I could be wrong about this, I'll bet Jerry Jones was the one.
No, Mike Brown.
Are you sure about it?
That's what that's what is being reported.
Is it? Okay, well, I didn't see. But Jerry has argued with me for years and years, human frailty is part of our game. Jerry thought that controversy sold. And I told you yesterday, any publicity is good, negative publicity is good publicity. That was Jerry's golden rule. About his football team, too. As bad as we are off the field, it just sells America's team. But in this case, I think they decided it cut into their Super Bowl rating. Again, is there any way to really do that without going to focus groups? And then what does it really tell you? Is that a big enough
But Skip, I believe if Jerry, Skip, Jerry is snake oil salesman. Jerry can sell anything. So if Jerry would have said, guys, I think we need to leave this alone, Jerry would have convinced all the other owners.
He is capable of it.
He is.
Apparently, he did not.
No.
So Sean Payton, I gotta give him a standing. Listen, that took some guts. I know he had an axe to grind, but he put himself out on the line about this because he campaigned for it.
Yes.
And he said, I know we're the team that didn't benefit from this, but we've got to fix it. And he led the charge.
Yes.
And now he says we still need a sky judge who can watch TV, watch the game on TV, unbiased, objective sky judge who's not part of the officiating crew, who can watch the game the way everybody at home is watching the game.
Can I be the sky judge?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're unbiased.
No, I tell you who can't be a sky judge, especially at Cowboys games. My butt, you.
Well, obviously I can't, and I wouldn't be.
Wouldn't be a good
I wouldn't be a good sky
Or
judge.
the Patriots.
Yeah.
Or the Browns.
Okay.
There's
All
a
right.
few teams he wouldn't be
Okay,
allowed
that's
to work.
fine.
That's a shame,
Yeah.
Skip. You ought to
It's
be
hard to
ashamed.
find an objective person.
It's hard.
Although I am an objective fan. So again, if one of my guys, if Byron Jones lost his head and blatantly interfered, I would say that's interference. How could you not if it's blatant? If it's just, it's like in your face, all time wrong, you've got to fix it. Now we can fix it.
But the thing is that you're going to be reviewing every little grab and tug. And like I said, Skip, when you slow things down.
You only get, don't they get two?
You get two, and if you get it right, you get.
All right,
okay.
so it's not going to stop every time. You only get two.
That's okay.
All right?
That's okay.
And you're going to lose.
You might lose some, but what if
Okay.
I get it right?
All right?
And the flag wasn't thrown.
Okay. So is it going to slow the game down?
Yes.
Well, you only get two, although in the last 2 minutes, then
That's the difference.
Right.
people upstairs could do it, right? Okay. I don't care. I don't care if the game goes 10 minutes longer. Just get it the rightest you can get it in 2019. And we just did that.
Skip, it's humans
Okay,
involved.
but this is the National Football League. It's better than what happened in New Orleans. It's better than that.
You just take one isolated incident.
It's not isolated.
It was.
It's the incident.
Okay.
Again, will it not happen for the next 20 years? What if it happens next championship game?
But okay, you had one in 79, you said 79,
79.
and you had another one in 2019.
Okay,
so you go 40 years.
History tells you we won't have one. But history is sometimes wrong. So all I know is we now have an out. We have a way to correct. We didn't have a way to correct before.
Roby Coleman.
Yeah.
Roby Coleman. I said Bradley.
That's all right.
Roby Coleman.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, Skip. Let's just say for the sake of
Bradley
argument.
Roby used to play for the Broncos.
Broncos.
He still does, but he's...
No, he's the Texans now.
I know.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Let's just say this year, so it's only 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they do away with this rule.
Yeah.
And say 5 years from now, they have a very similar incident to the one they have in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. So you might as well just go ahead and leave it in so you don't have to worry about this. This is what you want. You
So
can't
you're conceding.
No.
You have conceded.
I don't like
Thank
it.
you.
I do not like the rule, Skip. I was very, very abundantly clear that Monday that I didn't like the rule because I think you're heading down a slippery slope, Skip. You're opening up something that you don't want to open up, Skip. You don't want to know. You don't want to know what's inside.
Well, that's a bad way to put it.
You don't, Skip. You don't because
you don't want to see the sausage made?
No, I just like the taste of it.
Really?
I just eat chicken sausage anyway.
Chicken sausage?
Yeah, and
That's
turkey.
not really good for you anyway.
Why?
I just think it's not.
It's chicken.
It's probably got dark meat chicken in it, which is not
I like dark
high
meat chicken.
fat. It's high fat.
So, some fat is good
Fat's
for you.
okay
help
for you,
him.
but fat's good for you.
Yeah.
It is not good for you.
Jenny had a
That
pint
kind
of ice
fat?
cream the other night.
Really?
Keto
Yeah.
diet.
Tell her about that pint of ice cream. Yeah. You Skip.
Slow.
Skip. You're going down a dangerous road here.
No,
you know
I'm
that.
not.
Yes.
We're going down the best road
No,
since replay was instituted in the first place in 1985. This is the best change. You know what? This is the best change the NFL's made since it invented the Super Bowl. Remember that?
Yes.
When there was the merger back in
Right.
70? You know,
used to do it with AFL, NFL championship.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Skip, if this is what replay was intended for. Replay was intended for whether or not you caught the ball or there was a change of possession of the ball, not whether or not a foul was committed. This isn't an NBA because they call foul. There's fouls going on every play. Just imagine if you had an NBA, you could review for whether or not the guy made a foul.
Okay, what's the worst thing that can happen when you call a foul in the NBA? The worst thing that can happen is you shoot 3 free throws, right? That's the very worst thing that can happen. This can happen. 60 yards can happen. 70 yards can happen.
Yeah.
Right? Scoreboard can get impacted by this call. It's way out of whack, and they just brought it back into governable, where it's correctable now, right?
Well, the competition committee, I made sure I made note of that. The competition committee said the Stephen Gilmore play would have been pass interference.
Okay.
It would have been the Rams' ball at the spot of the foul.
Okay. You know what? Since you bring up the NBA, I'll say this. There may be a time in the near future when the NBA decides in the last minute of games, or maybe just playoff games, last 2 minutes, let's just do last minute, that you can review a foul call just to make sure that the refs think they got it right in slow motion time as opposed to real time, right? Because
what they did with the Kevin Garnett. You remember Kevin Garnett charge, and they went to see whether LeBron was outside of the restricted area. He was outside, but they said LeBron fouled him.
Okay, all right.
So that changed it because now they were up 1 and had the ball. They was going the Cavs were going to get the ball.
Yeah, LeBron always needs excuses.
There you go, Skip. I'm just telling you what happened. Did that happen?
I got it. Okay, it did. Fix it. Get it right. If it's blatant, if it's not debatable at all, if you can take one look at one replay and say, they just blew that call, then let's fix it. And you should, if a call decides an NBA playoff game, heaven forbid, a finals game, we should have the ability to go back in and say, you know what, we missed that one.
I'm praying that this rule does not affect your Cowboys.
Okay. Well,
No, Skip. I don't want it because I already know
what about my Spurs the other night? James Harden just flops on a DeRozan shot. And again, it wasn't at the end of the game. It was with 4 minutes left.
And you were still up 6.
It was so blown that what if that happened on the last second? What if his basket got wiped off and the game's over? Well, you'd go back and look at it and say,
elbowed him, Skip.
They didn't even touch.
Yeah.
You know? Sorry.
Is that the Pandora's box that you are talking about opening, making these changes?
I pray that it doesn't happen to your Cowboys because I know you're going to blow it. Because this is you. This is move right here. They've got to let it be.
I am good.
Play on.
If it's clear that my team shouldn't have won the game, let's fix that. If it's clear.
Well, you don't need PI to see that your team shouldn't have won the game.
Okay.
You're going to see a lot of those.
Okay.
It's going to be clear. Crystal.
That is wishful thinking.
Without replay.
And you
I already know.
And I know you are in huge trouble.
We already got 4 cases bet.
Okay. We can up it if you want to. You tell me.
No.
I'm good.
What?
I'm good. I got Randall Cobb.
Okay.
You know, I got George
Gonna stick with
Iloka.
that.
Really, Skip
I
Bayless?
got George Iloka.
Those big names.
Yeah, Skip.
Randall Cobb's a pretty big name.
All right,
He's a
all
big
right, I'll give you
name.
that.
But you
I
still
will
not
give
making
you
the
that.
playoffs.
Okay, we're going to start talking, keep talking about Zion because now we're saying he could potentially be already heading to the Hall of Fame. We'll discuss that next.
No mercy.
Well, Zion Williamson has been the story of the college basketball season. Yesterday, Central Florida coach Johnny Dawkins said Zion is going to the Hall of Fame after Paul Pierce called him a top 50 player. Shannon, is this already too much praise?
Johnny Dawkins and Paul Pierce, y'all need to be on an island somewhere to share these thoughts to yourself. Keep them quiet. Yes, it's entirely too. Skip, we're projecting you and so many people are projecting too far. He's unbelievable. He's very impressive for a college kid. That's what he is. He's a college kid. Can we stop with these projections? We don't know what he's going to be like because, Skip, nobody can. I want you to show me the video of him putting the ball on the floor, and pulling up from 15. I want someone to show me him shooting a mid-range, not set, granny shooting a 3, jump shooting a 3. I want to see that. Where is that footage? All I've seen him do, and he's phenomenal at getting to the rim, dunking the ball, putting against the board. He's good, great at that, and he's fun to watch. But these projections, everybody said Greg Oden, can't miss. Purvis Ellison was can't miss. Sam Bowie was can't miss. But you don't know, Skip. You know why? And I don't normally do this, hope he doesn't get injured. But there are so many factors that go into But like you told me, but everybody make the Hall of Fame. You start, the moment you pick up a basketball, you're building your Hall of Fame career in basketball. AAU.
I think you got in the basketball Hall of Fame. I think.
You do it all.
Had I played AAU, you play AAU, you play college, you play international. All that factors in. But Skip, he's played 1 year of college ball, and we're already saying he's a top 50 player in the world. No, he's not. He's not. He's a
top 50. I said top 30, borderline top 20. Go ahead.
There's a lot of development that needs to go on with his game.
Yep.
Right now, Blake Griffin could shoot a 10-foot shot. Have you ever seen him shoot a 10-foot shot?
Who, Blake?
No.
Zion.
When Blake Griffin came out of the University of Oklahoma and he stayed there for 2 years, not one, he couldn't make a shot beyond 2 feet from the basket. Trust me, I watched every dribble, every dribble.
Okay, so basically he's Zion.
Okay, but did he teach himself to shoot?
Okay.
He did have a shot to win the game last night and missed it from 3, but that's okay because he's a much better. He shocked me how well he has developed a shot. Did Magic Johnson develop a shot? Yes, he did. Did Michael Jordan develop more of a shot, a three-point shot in the end?
But Michael could shoot the mid.
He
wasn't great. And Magic taught himself the push shot to go from 3. He taught himself that.
And no jump shot at all. Magic Johnson, 6 feet 9 inches, no jump shot.
And I'm not saying Zion can't teach himself.
Okay.
But until we see that, can we wait for that to happen before we start anointing this? Man, I can't. When's the last time the guys played 28 games and this is where we are? I'm looking at the next guy that gets 28 paychecks. Oh, that guy about to be a billionaire. Skip, can we stop with this? I get it. He's unbelievable. And again, he's 285 at 18. Do we know what he's going to be at 25?
Nope. So if you're right about injuries, and I'm knocking on wood, then you got me. If you're right about he just gets fat, you got me. I'll knock on wood for that one too. If you say he won't ever be able to shoot a lick in the NBA, you got me on that one. I don't think you're right about that. But I'm going to read a few quick quotes from people who really know basketball, who are really good at playing it or at coaching it, just to bring you back to perspective here. Because I'm not saying this, they said it.
Okay.
What did Steve Kerr say the day after Zion's debut against Kentucky, at that point ranked number 2? Remember this?
Yes.
It's the first game of the year. It's November the 6th. Duke won 118-84. Zion had 28 on 11 of 13 shots. And the next day, Steve Kerr, who played professional basketball with Michael Jordan, said, and I quote, "I thought LeBron was a one-shot deal, but apparently the next guy is coming." Wow. That's the next day after he watched, obviously via television, not coach's tape. He watched TV and sat back and said, there he is.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that not pressure and expectation? Is that not a mouthful from a guy who's become a really good NBA coach as well as a pretty good NBA player?
Yeah, but see, he's watching the game on the TV side as a fan. As an evaluator's like, hold on, all I'm seeing is dunks and layups. Where's the mid-range game?
Okay. But Steve Kerr's pretty smart about that. So I think he just saw the whole raw package, raw as it is, and just said, hey, there he is.
Let me ask you a question.
There's the next one.
Who had a better mid-range game at 18, LeBron or Zion Williams?
You know what? LeBron had none. He had none. He's still a below-average shooter.
I can't tell.
He's taught himself that Jordan-esque fadeaway, which he hasn't done so much anymore because he doesn't have the hops.
Oh, he got to let you had to go. He had to go last night. See, I wasn't gonna bring this up, Skip. You saw it last night. He was on display.
Nobody cares.
He was in that toolbox.
It's one non-playoff team playing another non-playoff team, and nobody cares.
He's LeBron James, and that's the Lakers.
He has become irrelevant.
Skip,
now we're talking about the most relevant player on the planet, Zion Williamson.
I did.
Zion Williamson. We're going to talk about that game when we talk about the LeBron topic. I'm saving my MO for then. Thank you very much.
Save it.
This is from Steph Curry on one Zion Williamson. Steph Curry's won a couple MVPs. He's pretty good, right?
Yeah,
he says
great.
He's unreal. We were talking about him the other day in our team room, so they're buzzing about him behind the scenes.
Right.
Yeah. He says, you can't teach his passion, the way he plays the game. He plays hard every possession, and that's an underrated skill that kids can emulate.
Yes.
I've never seen the constant energy and passion that we see from this kid every dribble, every possession.
Yeah. I know Russell Westbrook has that.
Okay. Zion just seems to have it even more. There's more. Like Russ doesn't play with the joy this kid. Like he's really kid in candy store loving basketball.
Russ plays with fire,
rage,
yes.
Just like rage.
Jenny, you heard what everybody said. I thought LeBron was a one-shot deal, but there's someone else coming along. Steph Curry is talking about, the guy plays with such joy and passion. Ain't nobody talking about his game, his fundamental game.
Okay.
Nobody talking about shooting.
In just a minute.
Okay.
Let's get to Roy Williams. Is he a pretty good coach? Because you love the
I
Tar
love
Heels.
dadgummit Roy.
Okay, dadgummit. Guess what Roy said?
What did he say?
He said, this is after he lost to Zion, he said, name somebody else that's got the skill set that he has. We're talking about skill set. Because in the college game, I've never seen it, said Roy Williams. Everybody will say, well, what about LeBron? Listen to what I said. LeBron never played in college. I've never seen anything like that outside of a LeBron who didn't play in college. Skill set.
Yes.
That probably includes shooting the basketball because his touch, his feel, his shot motion is pure to me.
It is.
And it will work at the next level as he continues to evolve as a basketball player. His stepfather and his mother, both who played basketball, taught him to be a point guard. His handle is extraordinary. His ability to see it, feel it, pass the basketball, again, you can't teach it or coach it. Trust me on this. The great passers are natural born. You just can't. You either have the vision and the anticipation of it. He's got it. Those long bounce passes that we see on the break, you just say, how does the kid do that? At 18 years old, he's got it.
It's good. And I got no problem with that.
Skill set.
But can we see the development? Can we see the maturation? Right. But you still haven't. Have you ever seen him shoot a 10-foot shot?
I think I have. But again, they don't feature him in the offense because the ball hog in the offense is his partner in crime, his co-star, R.J. Barrett. Okay. And Cam Reddish will take his share of the shots too. Right. So Zion is very comfortable, unselfish to a fault, in just being a cog in the Duke system.
It really works, Skip, because he has R.J. Barrett, because he has Cam Reddish, a team can't just focus on Zion. Yes. Because if you do, RJ will go get you 30. If you slump off Reddish and he's got it going that night, he'll go get you 28.
Against Central Florida, Zion had 32 by accident. He just got them when they came until the very end of the game when he said, okay, get out of my way. I'm going to do that. I'm going to attack that 7'6" guy, and I'm going to either score this or get to the free throw line or both.
I just need to see, and I get it. Like I said, I mean, he's unbelievable at that body weight, at that size, to be able to handle the ball, to put the ball on the floor. But I need to see more. I need to see more than dunks and layups and putbacks. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that he can't develop.
You're going to see a whole lot of them in pro basketball starting next year.
Okay.
Because he is such a quick jumper. So powerful. He's like a kid who doesn't know his own strength yet. Wait until he starts to grow up a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
All right.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Afraid of?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, at 18 at 285.
Yep.
Wait till he grow up. Wait till, as they say, he get his man body. Then what, Skip?
Do you think he's going to be fat?
I just ask you a simple question.
Obese?
I just
overweight?
Skip.
Is that what we're predicting?
He's 18.
I'm not.
He's 18.
18 years old.
At 285. So when he gets his man body. Now look at LeBron. LeBron looked like he's about 205, 210 at 6'9".
Okay.
Now he's 265.
Okay.
16 years later. So in 5 years, 10 years, you think Zion weight is the same, less, or more?
I'm going to say the same. It'll be proportioned much differently.
Because
once he gets on a nutrition program and in an NBA weight room, it will start to change for the better.
Even if it stays the same, that's a lot of up and down for somebody that size.
All right. Okay, well then you got me. I told you, if you get hurt, you get hurt.
But you got to factor that in. No. You don't get no out. You don't get no out. Because there have been too many other guys that we thought were can't miss and surefire.
Well, I was the one who said, don't come back and play anymore for free for Duke, right? Because I don't trust that he had a knee sprain. I don't know, but he came back with a vengeance.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to show you because I'm here, as he said, for my guys.
And not on a minutes restriction. He's playing 39, 40 minutes a night.
And did he look winded in game number 1 back? He did not to me. He just blended right into the flow.
I love watching the kid play. But I've seen LeBron. You saw LeBron against Sacramento opening night. He's giving it to him. Giving it to Doug Christie.
I give you that.
Giving it to him.
I got to see LeBron a lot in high school.
And you won't see him a lot more. You got another 4-5 years.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Really?
Yeah, enjoy. Another 4-5.
Diminishing years.
No, you don't do that, Skip. See,
4 or 5.
Diminishing
What we gonna
on
do?
the downside. Tom Brady keeps going like this. LeBron's going like this.
really, Skip?
Well,
really?
I mean, that's what my eye test
really?
tells me.
Did Tom Brady finish? What did Tom Brady finish in touchdowns? Passes.
Who won the Super Bowl, Jenny? Help me out. My
you see-
memory
Can I
gets
remind you
foggy.
guys?
Oh, you see
Okay.
what you did, Skip? You see what he did, Jenny?
can remind you.
Who won the Super Bowl? Not the team. So you all, I notice how you do that. You love to separate when it comes to Tom. If Tom did this, but Ray Allen saved LeBron, Kyrie saved LeBron, not the Cavs won the title.
By the way, what are we seeing already from young Zion? We're seeing the takeover gene against Carolina late. Get out of the way, give me the basketball. Not RJ, who stunk it up late against Gonzaga in Maui when he missed the last 5 shots of the game. Nope, let's go to the big fella, because the big fella has got that clutch gene.
That was a charge. He moved.
Was it?
That. You know, he moved that point guard out the way.
Oh, you
Skip.
mean UCF?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant it's Carolina. He won me a big case of dew that night. Remember that?
I don't think he's forgotten.
UCF, Skip, it's a great. But the thing is, he's going to get. How many of those UCF players are going to be in the NBA? How many? Maybe Taco?
two, maybe two.
Maybe Dawkins' kid?
I don't even know if Taco will get drafted. I'm not sure. I'm not sure Dawkins' kid will get drafted. Maybe
I
this
mean,
will help.
he'll get an invite. I mean, if
But
George.
if you look at his career, it hasn't been stellar.
Right.
Doesn't that go back to our argument about Zion? This is him in college.
Yes.
Can we just pump the brakes and watch him and enjoy
Yes,
what
Skip.
he's doing now and not put him in the Hall of Fame before
Skip.
he's even done with the tournament? It's just it's
28
a lot.
games, 30
It's a lot
games,
of
that was-
pressure.
I'm a pro basketball fan. That's
But
what
I
do.
worry about him handling
yeah,
this.
because
You know what?
that's what is freaking me out. Here's a guy that loved, the college basketball. He only want to talk about it. But now Zion comes along, and now he the biggest college basketball fan in America.
What did I tell you about Baker Mayfield and you wouldn't listen to me? What have I been telling you about Kyler Murray and you would not listen to me? I told you, like in game number 4
Baker
this year,
Mayfield Hall of Famer?
I told you Kyler is going to win the Heisman and you wouldn't listen to me.
Well, Tua-
And he won.
Tua
And then
got
I
hurt.
told you the day Cliff Kingsbury got hired, I said Kyler Murray will be the first pick in the draft. And now it's just a runaway, done deal.
Yeah,
right?
but are we putting
Okay.
them in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, we ain't put them in the Hall of Fame.
That's the part that worries me.
But I said Baker and Kyler. Baker will be a star, and he's becoming one.
He
Now
is.
you're on the band.
So who will be better, Kyler Murray or Baker Mayfield?
What does it matter?
Because I want you to put you like you said. I have the courage and your conviction. I will put your feet to the fire. Who gonna have a better career, Skip?
I think Kyler probably has a little more upside, just a little bit more.
Now I want to know the upside.
just because
better
of the
career.
speed?
We do the fit.
I don't know. We got to see what's going to happen.
But we ain't got to see what's gonna happen with Zion.
Well-
we just gonna go ahead and project right now.
Is
He's an
Kyler
18-year-old
is
kid.
Kyler going to have Odell next year and Jarvis Landry? I don't know. I love Baker Mayfield, but
So is Zion gonna play with? Is gonna play with LeBron? He gonna play with KD? He gonna play with AD? He gonna play with Kyrie?
I don't know.
Exactly.
That's a good question.
We're going to transition
We know LeBron
to
needs help, and I don't think
LeBron
Zion needs any help.
Whatever.
He's going to change life wherever he goes.
Well, they going home this weekend, so don't worry
Are
about
they?
it.
You want to up the bet on that?
No, I don't want him to talk to you about those Zion anymore.
You're done with him
Until
for
they
now?
lose.
Okay.
No mercy.
Let's talk about a different quarterback who has been in the news for maybe some more negative reasons. Well, Carson Wentz's leadership
interesting.
has been reportedly called out by some of his teammates in an article this offseason. But his head coach, well, he doesn't seem too worried. Doug Peterson praised his quarterback yesterday, saying leadership qualities are, quote, in his DNA. Peterson even compared Wentz to two all-time great quarterbacks that he used to play with, and that is Dan Marino and Brett Favre. So, Shannon, do you agree with your guy,
Yeah.
Dougie P?
Old walking to him gonna be in the Hall of Fame.
So now he's Hall of Fame ready? Oh, everyone's going to the Hall of Fame
you
around
laugh
here.
at that because it is laughable.
I do. Now, it wasn't a very good sign, Skip, and injuries are very tough for a player, especially a young player that's they moved up to select you, and you know what's expected of you, you know what's asked of you, and you get injured so early in your career, and you see your backup come in and have such great success, the ultimate success. Lead the team the last 3-4 games, win the Super Bowl. That heaps a lot of pressure. And when you're injured, it almost feels like, Skip, you're not a part of the team because the team has to move on. They can't cater to you because, and I'm sure he's looking at it, Carson, not Carson, excuse me, Foles.
Yep.
Foles, get in here and run this play.
Yep.
And he's looking like, that's supposed to be me. and he maybe didn't handle that situation well, Skip. Maybe he didn't reach across the aisle. Maybe he wasn't as cordial, as friendly as he needed to be. Because you can really never stop being a leader. Because there was never a doubt in my mind that Nick Foles was not going to lead this team moving forward. So you don't get an opportunity that says, okay, I'm not going to lead now, because you're going to fall right back into that role, even though you're not in the active role as we speak. And so I think he handled that situation, and Dougie P, like he mentioned it, it's tough. Him being injured and not reaching across the aisle. But for Dougie P and the Eagles' sake, he better be, because you know what they've done, Skip? They've taken everything they could possibly own, and they've packed it into this young man's car. And they better hope he doesn't drive it in the ditch.
Thank you for saying that.
Oh,
That
no,
was
it's
the most
real talk.
objective thing you
No,
ever
it's real
said
talk. No.
about bounce it to him wins.
This is walk it to him.
I'm
now
sorry.
bounce it to him.
Or the old adage, they put all their eggs in his basket.
Yeah.
You just hope he doesn't trip on the way to the market. I believe in this kid. I believe in his makeup. He will bounce back and have an outstanding career. There's no question in my mind. He's the best quarterback in the division. He's the best leader in the division. And they're going to win the division. Now run tell that.
Boy, you have to keep going out of your way to defend your guy.
I ain't got to defend it.
Because he needs a lot of defending. And Dougie P., who wrote a book a year ago after he
A bestseller, too.
After Nick Foles scored 41 on Belichick's defense.
Don't do that.
The book was called Fearless. He's starting to sound like a sequel called Fearful. Fearful, right?
He's not.
Fearful, because he's going way out of his way to defend the leadership intangibles of a quarterback he just bet his job on. He bet the house on.
Yes.
He bet the ranch on.
Yes.
As in Jerry Jones' ranch, because Jerry Jones is about to own this division because he's got the best quarterback
No, he
in this
doesn't.
division. He's got the quarterback who beat Carson Wentz head-to-head last year twice. And all of a sudden, gone from Philadelphia is the quarterback who clearly, by any eye test, played quarterback better than Carson Wentz has ever
He
played
did for 3 or
quarterback.
4 games.
3 or 4 games?
Yeah.
So Nick Foles, regular season, has 68 touchdown passes to 33 interceptions, and he got cut loose and he went right on to Jacksonville.
Well, how many touchdowns does Foles go?
Watch what Jacksonville does next year. They're going to be the surprise team. Nick Foles
In
is
3
quarterback.
years, walking to him got like 58, maybe even 60.
So has Carson Wentz played any playoff games? No,
No,
he hasn't
he
taken
ha-
one snap
No,
in
he
the
has
playoffs.
not.
So Nick Foles is now 4-2 in the playoffs. But what happened in those 2? He got beat.
He lost. That's what happened.
He got beat by a walk-off field goal via Drew Brees' last-ditch field goal drive in a playoff game. And last year against Drew Brees at New Orleans, Nick Foles is on his way to winning yet another playoff game, pulling it right out of the fire, and he hits Alshon right in the hands, except it went right through his hands to Lattimore and ball game.
Yeah, he
right?
threw one right
Okay.
into the hands of.
Was that Nick Foles' fault? I think
No.
not.
But it was his fault that they had a 14-point lead and they lost it.
So what was not shocking to me was a story that ran in the Philly Voice about a month ago, and it was stunning. And I think it was well done. It ran.
You think it was well done?
Well, I do, because it was really well reported. And the point is, the writer's name, if I can pronounce it, Joseph Santoliquito, he writes that Carson Wentz's aw shucks, overgrown Opie from Mayberry routine plays well with the local and national media, but sources in the locker room told this reporter that Carson Wentz can be selfish, uncompromising, egotistical, one who plays favorites, who doesn't like to be questioned, who needs to practice what he preaches, and fails to take accountability.
Was he talking about walking to him or Skip Bayless? I'm like, what we were talking. He wrote it.
Shannon.
It could have been Aaron Rodgers.
Don't do that, Skip. See, there you go throwing everybody under the bus.
And then here's one other quote from an insider. Carson Wentz's biggest enemy is Carson Wentz. He's had his ass kissed his whole life, and sometimes he acts like he's won 10 Super Bowls when he hasn't played in, let alone won, a playoff game yet.
Skip, if you
Hasn't even taken a playoff snap, and he acts like he's won 10 Super Bowls. You like that, Mr. Sharpe?
my Denzel.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Skip.
You know,
What quarterback?
that's not training day.
No, no, no,
I
no,
was
no.
going to say, which version?
What quarterback in the NFL has not had his hiney kissed from the time he was this big all the way to now? Name one, Skip. Now I just want you to name one, because what that I'm not questioning.
Tom
what-
Brady was a 6th-round draft pick.
Baker?
Baker Mayfield, but again, he's
Walk-on?
walked on twice.
So the guy take him to the next. So the guy take him. So he ain't had his butt kissed.
Yeah,
he won the Heisman in Oklahoma. He took him to the college football playoff twice. But he ain't got his butt kissed, right?
Dak Prescott had his butt kissed in the 4th round of the draft. So was that butt kissed? I don't think so.
Stop, Skip.
Interesting.
No. You know what? I see what you and Jenny trying to do.
I
do. Yeah, you do.
I don't know what
so
I'm
in other
trying
words,
to
so
do.
Dak ain't getting his
trying to
butt.
help.
So Dak ain't getting his butt kissed now in Dallas, huh?
Now he is, but he earned it.
Walk into him, earned it.
Wait, do I have to tell you once again, remind you? Dak Prescott has the most game-winning drives over the last 3 years in the entire National Football League.
Why, you know what, Skip?
He broke the record for completion percentage of any quarterback in his first 3 years. Those are staggering stats.
I'm not going to give it to you because that's what Tebow did. Tebow had the most game-winning drives, but he was the reason why you was behind. So he should have pulled us out of the hole. If you drive me in the ditch, don't expect me to get out the car and lift the car up and put us on back on the road.
Help
you
me
put
out.
us in the ditch, get us out.
Has Dak Prescott won 2 divisions in 3 years and probably would have won the middle year?
No,
if
he
had
wouldn't have.
Zeke for the whole year?
Hold on, first of all.
Lost Zeke for 6 games?
Okay, Dak has 2, Walking to him has 1. Okay, after this year, it'll be 2-2.
Will it?
Yes, it
Because
was.
Dak really beat up on Carson Wentz twice last year.
Skip.
He just showed him up,
No, he didn't.
outplayed him,
No, Skip.
put him back in his place.
You
Dak
got-
Prescott against Philadelphia in the 4th quarter and overtime threw for 243 yards. He put on a show
He
against
did.
your guy.
And it took a 4th down and a tip pass to win in overtime doing all that.
Who
And-
won?
And Walking to him had a whole hum game.
Dak won again.
Watch this year.
Well, it's all you got is to say, watch this year.
Yeah, that's all I got.
I know what's gonna happen.
Because last year's over with.
Yeah.
Last year's over with. All I'm worried about is 2019. The thing is, Skip, is that normally guys, see, I am a little concerned for the simple fact is that leaders, really, really good leaders, don't have these kind of questions broached about them at any point in time.
Thank you for admitting that.
So I'm a little concerned about that. And we saw so many people, so many of his teammates rush to his defense. And then you hear Carson Wentz says, yeah, I could have done this better. Yeah, I could have done that better. I get all that. I know Dougie P talking about, well, I can coach better. I get all that coach spiel.
Yeah.
You actually think Bill Belichick is up there in his office talking about, yeah, I can really do this better. Like, man, I got 6 of these things right here.
He's doing just fine.
I'm the reason why you know who got 6. Because if it wasn't for me, he would not have any. That's what he said up in his office.
The Eagles built a shrine in a locker to Nick Foles, a shrine. And the Philly Voice article concludes, while the sentiment in the Eagles locker room was that Foles is, quote, universally loved, Wentz is not. Okay, good luck to you.
Was that 1988 when Ronald Reagan said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. Eagles, tear down that shrine.
I think it's already gone.
And put another one up.
I'm not sure
Someone
those
new?
two go together, but
I liked the try, though. I thought it was
Yeah,
good.
but don't worry about it. Okay, Nick Foles had a shrine in the locker room.
Yeah.
Walking to him, gonna have a statue out front of the stadium.
Want
Now you
that
tell
on
me
that?
which one would you rather have?
you know, I'd rather have a statue, but he ain't getting no
He
statue.
gonna have one right there,
Yeah.
gonna be just like Rocky one. You know Rocky's statue?
Sometimes he looks like a statue in
know,
the pocket when he
whatever.
just brain locks and goes
Whatever.
deer in headlights. I'm statuesque. I'm locked.
No,
I can't move.
Don't do that, Skip. Well, you gonna see. You gonna see a different Walking to him. You're gonna be 100% healthy. It's over.
Really? It's
Over.
Things could be different next
OVA
year.
capital.
You better be
Okay.
right because he's got no more safety net. It's his team. All the pressure in the world is on this guy. And guess where his bar got set by Nick Foles? Way up here. Super Bowl MVP.
And he gonna jump over it. Woo. Yeah. You know who have the world record in the high jump? Javier Sotomayor, 8 feet half inch, and he about to clear that. So he about to jump on. He gonna get multiple. You know what multiple is? More than one. Super Bowls for Walking to him.
I'll
All
take
right.
Dak's athleticism over Wentz's.
I take Walking to him's ability to throw the ball down the field, not
really?
dinking and dacking it.
Okay.
We've got more high expectations to talk about because John Harbaugh had a strong take yesterday on the new look Cleveland Browns. We will
My
tell
team.
you about it next.
No mercy.
Well, the Browns have this strange thing going for them right now called expectations. Cleveland has had a very busy offseason, adding Odell Beckham Jr., Olivier Vernon, Kareem Hunt, and others. John Harbaugh even praised his AFC North rivals yesterday, calling them, quote, the most talented team in the division. Oh, how things have changed. Shannon, do you agree?
You know what I'm saying, Skip? If I was at the altar, I would say, I do.
But you've never said that.
I've never said that, Skip.
Yep.
I do agree with John Harbaugh. He didn't say they were going to win.
Just
You got
picturing
jokes,
you
huh?
at the altar. Sorry.
It ain't gonna happen yet.
Yeah, it's funny. It's a
Don't
good
count O'Shea out just yet.
Okay.
Skip, look. He didn't say they're going to win the division.
No.
He said they're the most talented team.
He said
you
that.
look at this offense, Baker Mayfield, OBJ, Landry, Njoku, Chubb, Kareem Hunt. That's offense. Defense, you go Garrett, Ward, Vernon, Richardson, Schobert, Kurtzy. Whoo! Even if the Steelers had Le'Veon and AB, they would be pushing them for the most talented team in the division. Now with those two guys leaving, and you look at what the Ravens lost defensively, C.J. Mosley, Zadarius Smith, Suggs, Steelers lost AB and Le'Veon. There's no question about it. But I love what old John Harbaugh did. You see, he put that pressure on the Skip. He been at this, he just piling it on. Woo, boy, they so talented. Man, I don't know why they don't end up in the Super. That's next. That's coming next. This is Super Bowl. Oh, they got Super Bowl talent. Just keep piling that pressure on. But he didn't lie. I don't see any lie. John Dorsey's done an unbelievable job accumulating talent. Because remember last year, I think they had the first and the fourth pick, and everybody, do they take Saquon and then Hope Baker's there at 4? What did they do? I mean, could they have possibly taken Baker at 1 and then trade the 4th pick and this year's number 1 to move back up to 2nd to take Saquon? They probably could have done that, Skip. But now you don't have the ammunition to go get OBJ. So everything worked out, and then you got Kareem Hunt that's going to miss the first 8 games. But Chubby was running that thing last year. So they are the most talented team in this division. Doesn't mean they're going to win the division, but if you look at their 53-man roster and just a few of the guys I named, yeah, it's hard for me to see someone more talented than this football team.
Interesting. So my take on this is that one, Shannon Sharpe is so desperate for a winning team to ride that he's now jumped on the Baker bandwagon.
Jump on that bandwagon.
And it's a little pathetic.
No,
I
got a team.
Pathetic.
I got a
he's
team.
been all in.
Yeah.
What's your team? I don't even know.
I don't even know right now.
How many teams do we have over here?
I don't know.
Got a
I
team.
don't know right now.
You used to have the Lakers, but I don't know.
No, Skip. See, I'm not gonna be like you, because all you want to do is peak chalk. This year, when we pick our Super Bowl, you'll take the Patriots. Yeah,
Chalk?
Yeah.
Everybody thought the Patriots were done.
Not
Over,
Vegas.
Washed up.
Vegas had them at the beginning of the year, and at the end, they still had the highest odds. But we're not talking about that. And you'll pick the Cowboys. That's what you're going to do. I already know.
Cowboys are front runners. They're just everybody's runaway pick.
Skip Bayless
right?
and their fan base, the Cowboy fan base, are front runners.
Every time I look at some power ranking, they're like 20th.
That's too high.
Watch, they just keep winning the division. Okay.
That's too
Well,
high.
there you go. So is that chalk then? It's unchalk, right? Back to this question. I love Baker Mayfield. There is no doubt about my love for Baker. But am I so not objective that I'm going to sit here and say he's already better than Ben Roethlisberger? I'm not, because that's not an
Who
objective.
said that?
Well, you are if you're saying John Harbaugh's saying that.
Skip, if you look at their roster, if you look at...
I'm about to.
Okay.
It's my turn now.
Okay, go ahead.
Does quarterback, does that,
Yes,
is it
yes.
included in the roster?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay. What's by far the most important position in all of sports? You can say baseball, pitcher, but
QB.
again, quarterback,
Yes.
right?
Okay.
Ben Roethlisberger had the 3rd best QBR in the National Football League last year. He led the league in passing yards. He led the league in passing touchdowns. Is that good?
Yes,
It's
great.
good. Was that a better year than Baker had
Yes.
last year? Baker
Okay,
had a
check. You got Big
hellacious
Ben.
breakthrough year, but Big Ben Roethlisberger, who has the better offensive line? I can just give you Pro Football Focus,
Okay.
how they ranked them. Cleveland's ranked pretty high,
Yeah.
but Pittsburgh's ranked higher.
Okay, now let's go to the skill players.
And by the way, that Kevin Zeitler,
Yeah.
they had to give him up in that
Yeah.
trade, so
Yeah.
he went to the Giants.
Yeah.
So I can make a case that Cleveland's offensive line got a little worse without that guard, because he's a big-time player.
Okay.
Okay? So
You got
again,
a little worse or a little better?
big.
Oh, they got worse 'cause they had to
Cleveland
give it to the
got-
Giants.
yeah,
Right,
okay.
okay.
So
Okay.
again, I'm going Pittsburgh's offensive line.
Okay.
Go look at James Conner's numbers. I don't want to go through the whole thing, but they were right there with Le'Veon's numbers. And if you add in Jalen Samuels, who had 142 yards on 19 carries against the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick's vaunted defense, that's a pretty good one too.
I'll take Kareem Hunt and Chubby.
Okay, now Kareem Hunt will be there when? Mid-season?
Mid-season.
Okay, all right, but still, you won't have him for 8
Okay,
games.
but I'll take it.
Okay, all right, but still, that's kind of a wash to me at that
Okay,
position.
okay, we push. Okay, you got two. Okay, Receivers.
So I'm going to give you receivers, but I'm going to caution you because Juju made the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
James Washington will have a breakout year. I loved him at Oklahoma State, and Ben didn't love him last year, but maybe he put him through a little fire test, a little trial, baptism by fire. Maybe he breaks out this year. They added Dante Moncrief, who's just a quality professional receiver to complement them. They re-signed Eli Rogers, and Vance McDonald's numbers were right there with Njoku's. They're real close.
Yeah.
And Jesse James was still on the team last year, so he's splitting catches with Vance McDonald. Now Vance McDonald's going to get all the tight end catches. I might give Vance McDonald just a little edge over Njoku.
I got Njoku.
Okay,
So
I don't know. This is a close call. I think I got Vance McDonald. Let's look at defense, shall we?
Yes.
The Pittsburgh Steelers, ranked number 1 or tied for first in sacks last year, while the Cleveland Browns, featuring Myles Garrett, were tied for 22nd in sacks. Is that good?
Was Olivier Vernon and Richardson on that defense last year?
But you know what? I can make a case that Sheldon Richardson is a negative because everywhere he goes, nothing good happens. I didn't like him coming out in the draft. I don't like his football intangibles. I've said it 1,000 times. And I'm shocked that they added him. Meanwhile, they lost Jabril Peppers. Big-time player.
Right.
Last 8 games, he was the most improved football player I saw in the National Football League on defense.
He ain't Earl Thomas.
He's gone. He is gone. And all of a sudden, Pittsburgh added Mark Barron. Again, it's safety, linebacker, whatever you want to call him. And Steven Nelson was a starting cornerback for Kansas City. And I'll take him in Pittsburgh.
And they got cooked.
I'm
You
just saying,
remember?
They improved a little bit on defense. And if you look at their rankings, they were 6th in yards allowed to 30th in yards allowed for Cleveland. So I'm sorry, Shannon. Pittsburgh's defense is just better, not to mention that Greg Williams is now no longer the defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns. You like that?
No.
He brought attitude. He brought edge.
He brought him to 30th rank.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying I liked just that they were a high turnover producing team.
Exactly.
Okay. And that was about Greg Williams, who is no longer there.
Again.
I think they got a little worse on defense.
Talent. So you're talking about overall scheme. Which one of the players on Pittsburgh is better than Garrett? Which one of their DBs is better than Denzel Ward?
Okay, I will give you those. But does the defense play up to their potential?
They will.
Because Myles Garrett, again, I didn't love him coming out in the draft. I just didn't love him. What did I say?
And Schobert.
Yeah.
Schobert is a Keekly.
I like him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's a wolf hunter, but he's pretty good. He doesn't have the range of wolf.
Oh, yeah, he got the range. Yeah, he tracking.
I don't
GPS.
Want to line those two up in a 40-yard dash and see who wins?
USA ain't got this kind of tracking stuff. What he got?
Really?
Oh, Schobert sideline to sideline.
How about track and field?
And was he lock in on something, Skip?
Yeah. I like him. No, he's got
it's
guts.
Over.
He's got guts.
Yeah.
You know what? Their defense isn't as good as Pittsburgh.
We'll see this year.
I'm not sure what John Harbaugh's doing except heaping pressure on the Cleveland Browns. And then we get to the Odell factor. Odell is sensational. We all know that. But he puts on better shows before games than during games, oftentimes.
Oh, yeah.
Can he be the ultimate distraction? He can be.
He's going to be on his best behavior this year. You see all them cleats he haven't made? Special celebration cleats.
Freddie Kitchens said yesterday that he's not sure Odell's going to show up for the first day of OTAs. Here we go again. I don't know. You love that?
Yeah, well, look, that's something that John Dorsey should have worked out with Odell before he traded for him. Like, look, we expect you here for mini camps with a new system, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
You can't, I mean, you got to let these young guys, these millennials, Skip, you got to tell everything. You can't assume anything like, oh, I was supposed to come to work on Monday? Yeah, you got a job.
That's how it works.
You just don't show up on Wednesday because you got to tell them everything. Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Okay.
You get an hour for break and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you have to do these. So these young guys like Odell, you got to tell them.
Are you sure that Odell will blend in Cleveland, Ohio? Blend in. Just be another piece to the puzzle. I don't know.
What did LeBron tell Kevin Love? Don't worry about fitting, stand it out. Just fit in. Or don't worry about fitting in, fit out.
Yeah, fit out.
Stand out.
How to do
He
that.
like stand out. Just be you, Kev.
I always said fit out.
Oh, Kev started dropping them dimes, dropping down. Kev. Oh,
So you just compared Odell to Kevin Love, right? You
I
like that?
like
I'm
that.
saying, Odell, I know you're going to be on your best behavior. I got your back right here because Skip Bayless is still down on you. I believe this
I'm not
change of
down on him.
scenery.
I just don't-
I believe this change of scenery. Sometimes, Skip, it's change, you need a change.
Go Browns, go.
A lot of expectations.
Yeah.
The last time they won the division, I was 2 years old. So it's been a while.
Wow, how old are you, Jenny?
Yeah, exactly. You can do the
22.
math. It was in '89, so I mean, it's crazy. That's crazy to think it's been that long. And now they're the best, just like that.
Just like that.
It doesn't normally happen overnight that way.
No. We didn't say they're the best. We say they got the most talent. See,
Yeah, but we didn't read the rest of John Harbaugh's quote.
What'd he say?
And we'll see what that means, you know?
Yeah.
Because the best team in the division is a team that's going to win the division.
Yeah.
Aha.
Okay.
Oh, I agree with that, Skip. I agree. But they're still talented. Just like the Cowboys. Hey, talent for talent, nobody can touch the Cowboys. What they get them? Nothing.
Division title, playoff win.
Oh, no.
Near second playoff win.
Near.
Yeah, near.
Y'all wasn't even close to winning that game, Skip. Skip, you gave
It was
up
a one-score game.
You gave up 500 yards rushing
Okay.
in one game.
My quarterback almost overcame that. I'll take it. I love my quarterback.
If he stopped dinking and dunking,
You do. I know. You do.
if you throw the ball down the field, Amari Cooper's like, just throw the ball, Dak.
My quarterback is a leader. He is the alpha.
The alpha.
What is walking
Don't
to
forget
him?
that, Shannon.
What is walking to him, a
We've
beta?
moved on
He's
from
a
him.
beta.
That was a segment ago, Shannon. Let's talk about a different special talent. Did the Greek Freak clinch the MVP award last night? Chris Broussard, he's here. He'll help us next.
No mercy.
The top two MVP candidates in the NBA battled last night in Milwaukee. James Harden scored 23 points, but went just 1 for 9 on three-pointers, and a lot of that was because of Eric Bledsoe's defense. Giannis had 19 points, 14 rebounds for the Bucks. They went on to win 108-94. And our friend Chris Broussard is back with us this morning. But Skip, I will start with you.
Thank you.
What was your takeaway from the
Changing
game?
your vote? Is that it?
You know what? I got nothing out of this game last night. The MVP battle was a big dud.
You wanted
Big
more.
dud.
You wanted more.
It fizzled out.
The MVPs of this game were Coach Budenholzer and his staff because they came up with a game plan by which I'd never seen James Harden defended that way or that successfully, because they took Eric Bledsoe and George Hill and just had them jump on James' left hand, just like stand sideways and say, I'm sorry, you can't dribble left-handed.
Right.
They dogged him at the three-point line and just said, oh, you want to drive right-handed? Just take the highway. Go ahead, shoot your little runners or whatever you want to shoot, and then Giannis, Brook Lopez, whoever would try to meet him in the middle of the lane because they were going to take the three away. And did they ever? He goes 1 for 9 from three, but even worse, Eric Gordon goes 0 for 5 from 3, and P.J. Tucker goes 1 for 8 from 3. So you got 3 starters who go 2 for 22. You're going to lose at Milwaukee in that game. Final, biggest picture takeaway on these two MVP candidates. I don't love either one of them in the postseason. What happened last night to me, just step back, I don't trust either of these MVP candidates. Big game, big stage, intangibles. Their killer will, whatever that thing is, whatever that assassin is that Jordan had, Kobe had, we can go on and on. KD has shown us in the biggest stages in the NBA Finals, back-to-back MVPs. Both of them shrank under the magnitude of that game. A nationally televised, pretty big stage game, a late season MVP matchup, the likes of which we may never have seen before, right? It was great. I was keyed up for it. And maybe they were both too keyed up because they shrank in the spotlight.
Go ahead.
I agree with everything you said. If you went into this game and you thought Giannis was the MVP, you left the game saying Giannis is the MVP. If you went into this game saying James Harden is the MVP, you left this game saying James Harden is the MVP. But what it showed me is that if James Harden does not score 50, they can't win, because more times than not, you're going to get P.J. Tucker, 1 for 9 from the field. Eric Gordon was 0 for 7. So those two guys were 1 for 16 overall from the field, 1 for 13 from the three-point line. James is going to have games like this. He'll have a game. He's
does.
1 for 9,
He
1 for
just
9
does.
from the three-point line.
Yep.
He's 3 for 11. But he'll also have a game where he's 10 for 17 from the three-point line and he dropped 61 on you. He has to be great. See, he can't be average. And this is an okay stat line. I mean, 23, 10, and 7. That's okay. But that's not good
He
enough
was
for them.
9 for 26.
But he's a volume shooter, you know.
But not that volume.
No.
Oh, but we've seen him go 11 for 38.
Well, what I disagree with what you say is he has to get 50, because in 6 of their last 10 games, he's had below 30. They're 7-3 in those games. So you got Chris Paul, you got Eric Gordon, you got Clint Capella.
Capella's played well.
Yeah, you have, and Gordon is a very good player when he's healthy. He's streaky, but he's a very good player. Yeah. And obviously Chris Paul is who he is, even if he's declined a little bit. Obviously, the MVP matchup was a dud, and I was with you. I was really excited about it. Eric Bledsoe was the MVP.
Yeah.
But they may have given a blueprint for how to defend Harden. Because you mentioned, like, when have you ever seen not only Harden, but any player defend it where you just
sideways?
Right. You're so much on this side. It's one thing to, go a little bit to that side, but they were like that. And then
they were standing sideways.
Right.
They were going to make sure he couldn't get to that left hand.
Yep.
And then they knew that even though he would go to the right, when he got to the rim, he was going to come back to the left. And that's why Bledsoe and everybody was still swiping it, because they know
from behind.
Right. He still doesn't feel comfortable, even though he can lay it up with either hand. He wants to go to that ball dominant hand. And Bledsoe got hot in the third and went 16 straight.
Bledsoe
I'm like, who is?
Well, what you saw, look, Milwaukee, I don't think they're only the best team in the East. I would pick Golden State, but they've got to do some things that will give them problems because they're long. Remember, they beat Golden State in Oakland earlier in the season. They're 5-1 against Golden State, Houston, and Denver.
I give you props. You were on their bandwagon early. You were saying, watch out.
Now, you are right about both of these guys in the postseason. Now, Giannis, he's young. We haven't seen enough yet. Harden, this is what he has to overcome.
Yes.
Like his legacy, if they somehow win a championship or two or whatever, and he does it in the postseason, his legacy, we're talking about really skyrocketing.
Yes, yes.
I don't know if he can get to Kobe Bryant territory. He'd have to win a lot to do that. But if he fails again in the postseason this year, because we've seen it time and time again, and if you want, whether it's the usage rate, does he get fatigued in the playoffs, or is it mental?
But Chris, the thing is that I'm gonna push back. He can lose, but he can't lose like how he lost to San Antonio.
I agree.
He can't lose by shooting 2 for 17 from the three-point line and scoring 15 points.
Or taking 11 shots or something like that.
Or losing in a Game 7. He can't turn the ball over 14 times in the playoffs like he did against Golden State, or dribble the ball off of his foot. Those are the type plays that he's going to have to overcome in the playoffs. It's just not going to be good enough. They're like, okay, you know what? If he plays well and they lose, the team plays better, you can live with that. But he's had some awful moments in the playoffs.
I'm just saying, if he wants to get to the higher level of the Kobe Bryant, then he's got to win.
Yes.
Right now, he's going to end up in that stage like Barkley and Ewing and, Malone, these guys that never have won. But you're right, he's got to play well. And Giannis, we just don't know. Look, when he came to L.A., they had, 16 points a few weeks ago?
Yes.
Now, granted, he was injured. There was some question of whether he was going to play.
Right. You thought he wasn't even going to play.
Yeah. So I don't know if we can hold that against him. But we have to see both of these guys in the big moments. Yep. But I'm telling you, Milwaukee with their length.
They tall. I
think they would get, and they're physical because you got Lopez with his size. Obviously, Bledsoe is physical. If they can get Brogdon back by then, you got to.
Al Gasol's just sitting down there in street clothes at the end of the bench, and he's going to be back.
Oh, yeah.
What's this kid? Is it from Notre Dame? Connaughton? What's it?
Connaughton.
Yeah.
No, he's a good player.
Whoa! I'm like, whoa! Look at Billy.
Budenholzer's done a great job with that.
He gonna win coach of the year.
They're second in the league in three-pointers made, third in the league in points in paint. I do think Giannis, because let's face it, a lot of people haven't seen him.
They still haven't.
Just because they're not on national TV a lot. And he showed you he brings the ball up the court half the time. Yeah. He can post up like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or something like that. He scores, obviously dunks on everybody. He defends. He drives and kicks. Like, once he gets that three-pointer down, and it's improving.
Capella hurt his feelings.
Capella got it.
Capella hurt his feelings last night. I don't know what he was thinking on that one.
But hey, when you
yesterday, I finally said, I'm going to give in to James Harden. I just raved on the show yesterday about him. Because I said, hey, he's doing things offensively I haven't seen before.
You put him in rare air.
Well, because he's
performed
in rare air.
Yeah.
And then that happened last night, and I said, really? Because it would seem to me, even if you jump his left hand sideways, he's just going to torch you. He's just going to figure out a way over time. Okay.
Yes. Now watch what he does. Now the next team that play him, they're going to play that same way, and he's going to end up with 60. You watch.
It's going to be interesting.
Because the first time, no one is really, like you said, they shade him, but not just they got 2 men removed outside of his left hand.
They're sideways.
Yes. Say you are not going to.
And they have the length.
Yes.
They can do that because, like you said, when he gets in the paint, they got length that can challenge. Most teams don't have that.
Exactly. So he'll figure it out. He's smart enough to know. But the thing that helps him is that if he has that 3-ball going, now you got to hug up on him.
Right.
That's when he can go around you get to the paint and hit that floater. He gets that floater going and the 3.
I think you have to think about this with the MVP voting, though. Like I said, the first 2 months of the season, they're under 500.
Yeah.
And Harden's playing every game. Chris Paul's playing every game. Capella was healthy at that point. The last 10 games, he's had 6 of them under 30, which still obviously isn't bad. But are we giving James Harden the MVP because of a 45, 50 game stretch and then these outliers every 2 weeks where he goes for 60? I mean, look, he's been great, but I'm just saying Giannis has just been the steady offensively, defensively. Every night I'm giving it to you.
Well,
the best thing Milwaukee did? They kept Houston off the free throw line. James Harden did the free throw line 5 times. Come on, James Harden averages about 10 free throws a game. They shot 7 as a team.
That's maybe the biggest stat of the game.
That's what you got to do with them.
The only thing James did well last night was he and his partner in crime, they left at the buzzer. That he and Chris Paul just walked up the tunnel, and I loved it. I applaud that because I don't like to see him hugging and kissing after games.
Oh, stop it,
I don't want to see it.
Really?
It's like this league has gone wrong that way. Jordan didn't stand around after
I
games.
don't care what he did.
Remember that Jordan was upset when the Pistons just walked right out past them.
Right.
That was
in the playoffs.
Yeah, why? If you don't like to see hugging and kissing, why was he so upset that they didn't acknowledge them?
Did you defend? Remember LeBron got a lot of heat against Orlando in 2009.
Before the clock ran out. Is that?
He didn't. He just didn't go, which I thought was ridiculous that they blew it. I didn't think it was a big deal like you. I mean, after a playoff loss, a tough loss, he didn't go
you're going all the way
in
back
Orlando.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
But he got a
this
ton of
year
heat.
when he
This
left
year he did do it
before the
earlier.
clock
Yeah,
ran
no.
out.
Oh, that was like Milwaukee.
yeah,
that was like
right.
Phoenix or somebody that he
Yeah.
left. He was like,
Ran.
Yeah.
But the problem that I have with everybody, they forget the big 3 Celtics when the Pistons bad boys finally took them down. Look at McHale, Paris, and Bird. And he shake no hands. They walked right off the court. And the Pistons saw what they did. Okay, they did the same thing in Chicago.
Good.
Oh, I can't believe
They did even
Isaiah.
worse. They walked right past it, but you're right. They caught heat.
Isaiah came through that church.
You love it over there, Skip? You really like it that much? All right.
I'm with you, though. I mean, we make too much out of it. If you shake hands, you don't. What's the big
Like,
deal?
doesn't have to be every time.
But you know what, Chris? When we get here, we pass it. Hey, we don't ride the elevator together. We don't say anything together, but in production meeting until we get here. I see Skip.
The commercial is right.
No,
that's dead serious.
We filmed that in real time. That's what happened.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Ain't no
Turn on the
conversation
light.
going on. Hey, I passed Skip in the hall.
No one wants to talk to me, Chris. I just keep to myself in the morning.
Hey, we both that elevator at the same time.
That's what we needed cameras.
Your game
shooting
face.
you guys
Game
before the show because it is real. All right, Chris, we always appreciate you here with us. So we're going to talk about LeBron a little bit next. Will he be even better next season? Well, Chris Bosh, he says yes. We'll tell you.
No mercy.
Back to the NBA. LeBron, well, he is missing the playoffs for the first time in 14 years after a terrible first season in LA. Chris Bosh won 2 NBA titles with LeBron in Miami, and he told E60 that his former teammate is actually underappreciated. Let's take a listen.
He's going strong. He's set the bar so high that if he averages 25, 8, and 8, that's not enough. After 8 years in the finals, people have gotten jaded by his greatness, obviously. For the first time in almost 15 years, he can get rest and really fully reset and get a whole offseason. So I think you'll probably see something you've never seen before from him next year.
Shannon, I have a feeling you're going to like those comments. How much better will LeBron be next season?
You remember the movie Home Alone? He gonna be better. Skip.
They're going to leave him home alone next
Don't do that. Don't do
Do that
that.
again.
Brent Woody's going to be home alone.
Now you do know In year 3, the first 2 years, he missed the playoffs. Do you know in year 3 what he came back and did? 31-7-7 on 48% shooting.
How long ago was that?
Don't worry about it.
I was going to say.
27-8-8.
Really?
His demise
Ancient history.
was greatly exaggerated. Skip, look, for the very first time in 14 years, LeBron James will not be playing in May. For the very first, for almost a decade, he will not be playing in June. So if I'm LeBron James, I know my season's over in 2 weeks. I'm gonna take 2 months off. I'm gonna let the body. They say the body is tremendous. It'll heal itself. So I'm just gonna take time off. I'm gonna round up Savannah. I'm gonna call my mom, Glory. I'm gonna say, Glo, Mama. He probably call her Mama. I don't know. Maybe he call her Glo. Hey, Glo, I need you to take care of the kids. Me and Savannah, we going away for about 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Sounds great.
We going somewhere, we gonna lay on the beach, we're gonna just have us a good time. I'm gonna let my mind, I'm gonna let my body heal.
What about Space Jam 2?
I don't think he has 6 weeks free.
Okay, I'm gonna take me a month off and we still going. Savannah and I, we still going. We going to the beach, we gonna get our mind right, we're gonna let the mind heal, let the body heal. Skip Bayless, I'm telling you. 2019, 2020, somebody in a heap of trouble. Now, I don't know who them somebodies are. You, mainly. You. And everybody that's down us, because they've been kicking us. We've been taking a pump. We done took like 4 or 5 standing 8 counts. We down, and I tell LeBron, the thing is, like Lennox Lewis said, we don't get up too quick because you'll be disoriented. Take your time. He taking his time. He getting up slowly. You saw what he did last night, 23, 14, and 7. Could have had a triple dub, but he's like, nah. Hey. I'm with Chris Bosh on this one. We've been so jaded. We've seen him perform at such a high level. Like, he's out of the playoffs. It was like, the news was like when the Beatles broke up, I can't believe this happened. When the Jacksons broke up, the Jackson 5 are not together anymore. Oh, my God. LeBron James is not in the playoffs. People, they closing schools and everything. It's a national holiday. Government shutdown.
Really?
Yeah,
that
man.
was caused by LeBron.
Yeah.
Makes sense
I
now.
did not know that.
Yeah, we
I
finally
learned
got
something every day on this show.
Me too.
Yep, that's what happened.
So, do you remember Home Alone 2 in New York? Do you remember?
I love that one. I think I like that one
And
better.
do you remember what happened to Joe Pesci in the bathroom of the sort of house, the
Yes.
townhouse? Do you remember what happened? My hair's on fire.
Yep.
Do you remember that?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
going to be you watching LeBron next year. My hair's on fire. Yeah.
Skip, you know you're going to have a monster year. Everybody says that except you.
So here's what I think LeBron James should do as soon as this season ends. He should shoot 1,000 free throws every day between the end of this season and the start of next year. Because what is happening to LeBron from the free throw line is all-time pathetic. He took 2 free throws last night. May we see those, please?
No, we don't need to see
Speaking of being jaded by how great he is,
watch.
I'm not jaded by this. It's up, and it's an air ball from the free throw line by the best player on the planet. And then the second attempt, this is his last attempt of the game because he ran from the free throw line. It's up, and he bricked it off the back iron as he overcompensates.
That's
right.
And that's what Skip, I believe he tries to be too perfect on the
Okay.
free throws.
Too perfect. He's shooting 67% from the free throw line. 67%.
That's not good.
It's pathetic. He's supposed to be, according to you, the best player on the planet. So the first fix is, if you're going to have a monster year, if you're going to do things never before seen, says Chris Bosh, you better fix your free throw shooting. Because of the 19 free throw shooters in the NBA, by the way, they're called free throws.
We know what they're called.
19 have taken 400 plus, including LeBron James. He ranks 17th of those 19. Rudy Gobert and Russ are the 2 below. I mean, Russ has just got demons out of his mind.
LeBron got the demon.
Yeah, he's
Skip,
got the
I think the thing is he tries to shoot the ball too perfect. And I can tell from just TV that his form is different every time he shoots a free throw. And the thing is that in his mind, he's like, okay, if I was short. And then he overcompensates and he hits the back iron. He hits the back iron and then he comes back and he undercompensates. And I'm like,
That's
for
hard.
whatever reason, he can't, the mechanism that makes James Harden and Steph Curry and Durant and these great free throw shooters, he hasn't found that mechanism to get comfortable. James Harden goes up there and it's the same routine and he does the same thing. And LeBron is like, look, whatever it is, LeBron, I want you to find your routine. I don't care if you miss 10 in a row. stick with that routine.
Okay.
Because what happens if he misses one or he misses two, he changes the routine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then he makes it, he stays that. He misses two more, he changes that. He's constantly changing. Nah, you better than that. But don't worry about the free throws. See, you always trying to nitpick.
That's not a nitpick. That's a big pick.
Well, keep big picking this 27, 8, and 8. Keep nitpicking that.
You know, I actually felt sorry for LeBron last night because they're playing a team that is 15 games below 500, the Washington Wizards, and it came to this. The Lance Stevenson play on Jeff Green.
Dance on him.
Okay, so he danced. Can we see this play? Oh, we're seeing the free throw. I can't get enough of that.
Yes, you
Lance
can.
Dancing on Jeff Green. Okay. Oh, okay.
Oh.
And look at the bench. Look at the bench.
I know,
it's like
the
they
bench
just
was-
won Game 7. I've never seen anything like this
they're
before.
excited
You're
about it.
excited. That's teammates. That's what
Okay,
you
look
do.
at this.
I think that's
JaVale's
good.
like on the floor. Everybody's
That's
on the
Rondo.
floor. That's JaVale.
Yeah.
Okay.
Skip,
Okay.
they got to find their moments
Okay,
to
it's
celebrate.
come to that.
Yeah.
He stepped on Jeff Green's shoe. You know, he steps on his foot, so he tripped him.
Yeah.
It's a trip.
Oh,
It's a trip. You're going to celebrate a trip?
it's going to be on YouTube
Really?
forever, though.
Okay, that's fine. Jeff Green said you can have it. Okay, so he crossed.
He had
Okay.
and laugh was dancing on it.
So you're going to celebrate. This is LeBron James's team
Yeah.
that's celebrating that against the Washington
It's
Wizards.
the little things, Skip.
It's the little thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so LeBron James has reset his bar way down
No,
here.
no.
Well, it has been
no,
reset
no,
by the
stop,
public.
stop, see.
So he's going to go into next year with the lowest expectations since his rookie year. And by the way, how about his shooting? How about it? From 3 feet from the basket out to 10 feet from the basket. Is that kind of, I don't know if it quite qualifies as mid-range
Yeah.
jump shot, but you need to jump and shoot the basketball. LeBron James so far this year has shot 29.9% from that distance. That's the worst by far since his rookie year when he shot 35.6 from that distance.
He ain't been the same since he's been hurt.
Okay? Is it the groin?
Yep.
I tweeted this right before the game. I don't know what to believe. Is his groin still troubling him? Is it bothering him? His celebrity physical therapist posted the other day, he's been in nothing but pain, pain, pain. So I tweeted, stop. Shut it down. Don't play anymore. But you know, and I know what's going on. He's chasing Kobe. He's chasing Kareem. He wants to pass him on the all-time scoring list.
He's
got
pass
to
him.
tough through it.
Yep.
That's
what we do.
How many do you have last night? 23?
23.
Okay. 23 had 23.
Well, what else did he do, Skip?
Well, he gets it. He mostly played point guard because he doesn't want to get to the free throw line. We know that.
Skip.
Well,
They don't call the fouls when they do be fouled. You see they be hit. If he get the calls that James Harden gets,
Yep.
he does. They hit him all upside the head. Oh, you too big, LeBron. Stop crying. No. James Naismith, when he invented the game of basketball, he didn't say, well, if you're this size, you can't get a foul call for you.
So I love Chris Bosh, but I'm not sure how to interpret. We're going to see something we've never seen
Never.
before. Okay,
You've never seen a guy.
25-5, or is that what?
No, you've never seen a guy in year 17 go for like 38 and 8 and take a team back to the NBA Finals.
By the way, Chris Bosh helped save that legacy.
See,
too.
there you go.
Did
See, everybody saved the legacy.
You know, the greatest thing Chris Bosh ever did in his NBA life was to retrieve that LeBrick shot, right? The long rebound off the missed three. He went out and retrieved it because Tim Duncan is on the bench. Ask Coach Pop why that was.
Skip, will you ever provide context for the fourth quarter of that
got
game?
it.
You wanna give
Was
us-
that not a sweet little dish to Ray Allen?
It
in the
was
corner?
great, but can
That's
you
a
do
basketball
Skip,
play?
The Miami Heat going into the fourth quarter was down 10 points. They scored 30 points in the fourth quarter to tie the game up and send it to overtime. LeBron scored 16. He was 3 of 5, if I'm not mistaken, from the three-point line. He assisted, had another 3 assists. So 22 of the 30 points in the third quarter, LeBron James was responsible for. But all you want to look at is he bricked the shot. No, hold on. Ray Allen did his job. Ray Allen was on the team to make three-point shots. He did his job, just like Adam Vinatieri did his job, just like Malcolm Butler did his job. Nobody saved Tom Brady's
What
career.
was harder to do, Adam Vinatieri's field goals that won Super Bowls or that shot from the corner? What's got a higher degree of difficulty?
Field goal.
The shot.
Field goal.
By far.
Field goal.
By far.
Field goal.
That's just automatic for Adam Vinatieri.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Did you
For
see
him, it's just automatic.
Did you see him
He just
against Kansas
swings his
City?
leg.
He missed the field goal and doinked the upright. So is that automatic? Because that could have happened in the Super Bowl.
He's like 45 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, Skip, All I'm saying is that if you provide proper context, that they were down 10, and then I just want to know what happened to your
Would you
Spurs in
provide
overtime.
the proper detail, the gory detail, that over the last 3 minutes, LeBron James had 3 unforced error turnovers in that game? And I'm saying, what are you doing? I'm rooting for the Spurs. I don't even know what you're doing, LeBron.
I know what I was doing. I was like, Bron got this. Because he had that 3-ball going. Cooking Kawhi. Did you tell people that Kawhi was guarding him? And did you tell people Kawhi missed those free throws at the end?
No,
and so did
thank
Ginobili.
You telling
Yeah,
everybody.
And so did Ginobili. And so did Manu.
He missed one.
So did Manu.
Number 2 missed one.
And so did Manu. He's more clutch. Really? In an NBA Finals game? LeBron didn't miss no free throws in the NBA Finals game.
Well, I don't know about that.
I know about that.
I'm
Not
sure
one
you
that could have
look up a
iced
whole
it.
bunch of those.
Not the one that could have iced.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going back to the NFL because they made a major rule change
Yep.
yesterday.
Wow.
But was it the right move? These two, well, they disagree. What does James Harrison think next?
No mercy.
There was huge news in the NFL yesterday. The owners approved a rule that will allow offensive and defensive pass interference, including plays where a flag wasn't thrown, to be reviewed. This is a direct result of the non-call in the NFC Championship game, which Sean Payton has been lobbying for. The new rule will allow coaches to challenge these plays until the final 2 minutes of each half. Then a replay official can take a look after that. So we're joined by FS1 NFL analyst James Harrison. James, we want to get your take on this. In your opinion, good move or bad move?
I think it's yet to be determined. It's something that they had to do because if they didn't, they were saying they were comfortable with what happened last year. I think it's going to get to a point to where you're going to get a lot of ticky-tack things that are going to be called that aren't necessarily going to go the way that coaches think that it's going to go. But if they're trying to call it by the letter of the rule, almost on every play where you got a receiver and a DB running down the field and they're hand fighting, you could call OPI or DPI.
Okay.
So I think that's why they made it for a year. It's there's something they're going to do for the first year, but it's definitely something I would have to lean towards. It's a good thing. It's like I said, it's yet to be determined, but as of now, it's a good situation that they had to do.
What if the quarterback throws a touchdown, but the offensive tackle holds you? You could have got it.
They said only OPI and DPI.
That's what I'm saying. So why we just go again? They've already weighted it so heavily for the offense. They've already catered all the rules for the offense. So how much more difficult you want to make it for the defense, Skip? If Skip takes one isolated incident,
It was the all-time incident.
I don't care.
It was
one.
the worst blown call in
ever.
It was one. One.
worst blown call in sports history.
Well, you told me the Dez Bryant catch was the worst sports call in history.
At that moment, I thought.
Exactly.
That was just, what was it, the divisional
round.
Yeah.
But you said y'all went to Seattle and you end up winning the Super Bowl that year. That's what you said.
Oh, we'd already
They
gone
would
there
have
and
definitely
beat.
had the highest opportunity of going to the Super Bowl if that play had been, if that penalty.
They weren't
had
going to
been
beat
called.
Seattle. But anyway, as I'm saying,
They already beat them at Seattle that year.
we're not talking about that, Skip. I just don't like the fact that you're opening Pandora's box because, like I said, you're going to start all of a sudden everything in slow motion. Like, yeah, that's what it was. But to the naked eye, you have to understand, Skip, these guys are looking at something in real time. And that's what you like. You don't have the luxury of, I mean, just think, Skip, if you could go back and replay your life over and do things. James, you could replay your life over.
I do it all the same.
You would?
Yes.
Likewise.
I would not.
Likewise.
I would
All
not.
everything I did wrong, everything I did right. Everything happens.
No,
for a
I
reason.
learned my
That's where I'm
lesson.
at.
No, I'm gonna do a lot of things.
If you didn't do it wrong, you wouldn't have learned your lesson.
No, I didn't want to learn. I want to learn. I would have learned from somebody else's mistakes, not my
People
own.
needed
They tried to
challenges
tell
in
you that.
their
They
life
tried to tell you that when you was young.
They
but you
did. I ain't
didn't
listen. But Skip, you know this is a bad rule, and guess what's gonna happen? Somebody gonna cost the game. Them Hail Marys, it's gonna be like right before the half and the end of the game.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden,
Yeah.
you got Jenny. It's Skip. You gotta let those plays play out. The game is too big. You don't want to have. No, Skip.
Was it a foul? That's
Yeah.
all I want to know. Was it a
Yes.
foul?
Oh, yes.
Was
that was
a
a foul.
foul.
Like,
If it was a foul,
it's going to be egregious
you
calls
got
that they
to
miss.
call the foul. You can challenge. Again, they're not going to stop every OPI, DPI and
Right.
say, let's review this, or the game would be 4 hours long.
Right.
But you can challenge. You get two challenges.
Two challenges.
Okay?
In
So that's
between
it. Period. End of story. Last 2 minutes, the
Right,
booth
right.
can challenge.
Right.
Okay?
I don't want
Let's
that.
get it right.
No.
What's the worst thing that can happen on an offensive holding? 15 yards can happen,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
And again, can it change the game? Sure it can. What's the worst thing that can happen on pass interference? 70 yards can happen, 80 yards
it's
can
a spot
happen,
foul.
right? Okay? Spot foul. Not the college foul, which is just, 15 yards?
Yeah, if it was 15 yards, you have
Right.
a lot of guys like,
You just
hey,
grab.
just tackle him.
Exactly.
grab him.
Just run straight through him. It's
Okay,
15
all right.
yards instead of a touchdown.
So thank God it's not the college rule. I don't like the college rule. I like this rule. This is fair, but this is the most impactful penalty by far over the last 3 years. 70% of the most impactful penalties that changed the score were pass interference penalties, okay? So let's figure out how to save them. You've got to fix the game so that people don't suspect that games are fixed, because they're going to suspect it. They looked at that New Orleans championship game, and I think a lot of people said, this game, they've lost credibility.
No, I
it
think
looks fixed.
I tell you what, the game they thought was fixed more than this New Orleans game, the Seattle-New England game. Throwing the ball on the 1 yard line, people are like, what the hell happened?
Okay,
Listen,
the
that's a
referees
terrible
weren't
coach
involved
decision.
in that.
No.
There was no
Listen,
referee.
that's
Yeah, that was,
coaching.
come on.
How about this here, Skip? What about Sean Payton? Can we review the play calls? Why are you throwing the ball on first down anyway?
We can't review the play calls. We can review this right here. That right there, come on, Shannon.
Sean Payton wants somebody to bail him out.
You're going to find out. You're going to find a lot of receivers getting some OPIs on them for those push-offs now.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm just shocked by your stance on this.
No.
And I think you dug in wrongly from the start, and you won't give it up.
Skip,
because you're on the wrong side.
No, I don't like the fact that they've already weighted it so far in the offense's favor.
You played offense.
I know. I understand that. And I've shifted a little bit, Skip, and I understand taking the head and shoulder and neck area out of the game. I understand all that. The helmet, and the forearm. I get all of that. But these rules now, come on, Skip. This is not even football. This is not football. And
They've been stopped football when they put all the other rules in there, but you knew that was happening. This right
not
here is
about
good for the
scoring.
game right
It's
now.
about getting it right, or the rightest you can get it.
Skip,
Exactly.
it's the human element. This is not AI.
So we want human error involved in the greatest game in the world, the National Football League. We want human error.
Yeah, it's going to be there.
To mar it, to taint
When you can
it.
correct
Skip,
it.
you in 100 years, you've had one egregious call, and now you want to uproot the whole system.
Okay, but it happened.
You have to make a rule to try and fix that. You can't let that
You
go.
can't. Unless.
And like you said, if you don't fix that, you got people saying this is fixed.
Okay, well then what about when the offensive line hold?
Oh, believe me, I understand that.
Oh, and
No question
what about when
about
Tom Brady didn't get hit in the head
Okay,
and
but
they threw
Shannon,
that flag?
you have to start somewhere.
Well, I want to start there.
Clean up the game.
Well, start with the defense and punish the offense when they
with the
hold.
defense?
Yes.
You know they
on.
don't want to do that. They want scoring. They want high points. They want 50 to 40.
That's
games.
what it is.
That's all
They talk
want.
about and Skip don't want to talk about this fact. He want to talk about the New Orleans, they didn't want to watch the game. If that game had been 33-30, more interesting, nobody care about no three little measly
It
points.
was edge of the seat. It was
What
gripping. All of a sudden, Tom Brady is just shut down. He's got nowhere to go, and all of a sudden he goes bing, 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 bing.
The only people that was on the edge,
they win the
on
game.
the edge of their seat, they had too many hot dogs and they had to get to the bathroom. They were the only people. Because 13-3 ain't no edge and no seat type of
That's a
game.
battle.
The ones that were hard to watch were like
That's a
58
battle.
to 3s when the NFC used to just
I don't know.
dominate.
That's hard to watch.
Oh,
yeah.
I remember.
Okay.
We broke the curse in 97.
Okay.
55-10 and 35 and 42-10.
Okay.
Yeah,
what
I
type
remember.
of game is that? That's like watching a
No,
real ball.
no. I'm saying no. The highest rated game was what, Skip? That Sunday night game? What was the score in New England and Kansas City? What about the Rams in Kansas City?
Okay.
That's what they people want.
action-packed, yeah.
That's what they want to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're
But
But
understanding
a lot
that,
of people turned off the Super Bowl before it started because they were turned off by the NFL not being able to fix and correct what was blatantly obvious.
And what about another reason they turned it off? Who was in the game?
Well,
that other guy?
I'll give you that. Patriot burnout. Brady burnout.
You're just so mad that they win.
He just too
I'm
good
so mad
for
that they
his
did
own
his
good.
rule.
Okay, but again, they weren't even
subjective.
split on this.
Subjective.
32.
31
Think about
was
no,
one.
but 32 head coaches all said we need this.
Oh, yeah, 63
32,
of a possible 64. I get that, but I'm saying it's subjective whether or not the official. Do I see pass interference? Okay, I'm going to throw the flag. I didn't see it, so I don't. Now they slow it down to 1/1000th of a
Yeah,
second.
they need to slow that down.
No,
I could have sped that up.
No,
and fast.
I tweeted in real time. I said, that's pass interference. Now, I didn't see the helmet. The helmet until they replayed it. So they missed two
I'm
calls.
not even sure.
I don't even know
I'm not
about
even
that
sure
helmet.
it's
The
helmet.
helmet.
I'm not even sure the
yes.
helmet's
Oh, yeah.
touched.
He didn't drop his head down.
No,
He
but I'm
it
saying-
touched.
but-
through him running through to get there, it touched.
I know that's what they call now.
Yeah, you know,
They got you.
That's some. Yeah, that's
You
some
remember?
BS.
You would know firsthand about when it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and that's why I don't like him. Yeah, yeah. Dark alley. Yeah, something with.
All
But
right,
Skip,
James.
they wrong for this.
Shannon, you're wrong.
Please.
You need
You
to
have to do
accept
it.
it.
Please don't help.
You need to swallow
I
it.
just hope, James. I just hope you hear that Monday or Tuesday when the Cowboys. This happened to the Cowboys.
When it
I'm
happened to the
good.
Cowboys.
Hey,
Tell them to call me when it happens.
Then
I
we'll
want to
talk
come in.
about
if
it.
the Cowboys
have that.
foul, they foul.
Okay. I was just having.
Okay, so save that clip.
What is
Save
today?
that clip.
Today is the 27th.
I was just having that same energy.
I feel like we're going to use that someday.
Now,
James,
if
good to
there's
have
a bad
you.
interpretation of the
There ain't no
That's
bad-
something different. Okay, save that one too. All right, we're going to talk about the Patriots. Are they going to use a first-round pick on Tom Brady's
Here we go.
successor? We will discuss
go.
with Joel Klatt.
Yep.
No mercy.
Okay, we are less than a month away from the NFL draft, and our friend Joel Klatt has unveiled his first mock draft. Not surprisingly, he has Kyler Murray going first overall to the Cardinals, and Joel has three other quarterbacks going in the first round. Dwayne Haskins, 6th overall to the Giants. Duke quarterback Daniel Jones going 15th to the Redskins, and the Patriots using the final pick in the first round on West Virginia's quarterback Will Grier. You can check out the full mock draft on foxsports.com and on Twitter. And Joel joins us now, but Skip,
Hi, Joel.
What's up, Skip?
I have a feeling you're going to have something
He's
to
ready.
say
You're
about
up.
some
Let's
of
go.
those picks.
Yeah.
All right,
Come
what
on.
did you
Let's
like and
rock.
what did you not like from those picks?
Joel Klatt, I loved and hated your first round of your
That's the beauty of it.
I'm going
That's
to
the beauty
mock
of it.
some of your mock draft
Please,
picks
that's what
when
it's
it comes
for.
to quarterbacks.
Okay.
Obviously, I think we all agree by now. I was ahead of this curve. Kyler Murray is going to be easily the best player in this entire draft, and he should go first to the Arizona Cardinals. But after Kyler Murray, I am on record. There's only one other quarterback I like in this entire draft, and he is not Daniel Jones, who you have going 15th to the Washington Redskins. I think that would be a really bad idea. He's not even Dwayne Haskins, who you have going 6th to the New York Football Giants. He is Will Grier, the 32nd pick in your mock draft. I think Will Grier, over time, has the moxie and the guts and the sort of style and flair to replace Tom Brady without crumbling under the pressure to do that. I like his game. I like his star power. He has a nice arm and a nice manner about him. And all of his siblings, I don't know how, became internet stars.
Oh, yeah.
So he's got some star quality.
There's the stars.
I don't think he would be overwhelmed by having ultimately to replace Tom Brady, but it would be 3 years. So I think he would be on that Aaron Rodgers track in Foxborough that Aaron was behind, obviously, Brett Favre. Shannon Sharpe, it took 3 years for Aaron Rodgers to rebuild his delivery and get ready to replace. And when it was time to replace Brett Favre, he stepped right into the fray and did not miss a beat.
Okay.
Now, back to Dwayne Haskins. I'm just not sold.
Okay.
And I've said it several times. Second round pick, maybe. There's something I don't love about his ability to handle pressure in the pocket because he didn't have much pressure. They really protected him, and so many of his throws were underneath throws to his track team of receivers who had run after catch like crazy. And we got to see the track team on full display at the Combine. You were there, and you saw Paris Campbell go 4.31 in the 40, and little Terry McLaurin, he ran 4.35, and Johnny Dixon ran 4.41, and it's like, sorry.
It was like that.
like
Bang, bang, bang.
And that's who he was dinking and dunking to with Big Yak. So again, is he going to be the face of the football Giants? Can he replace Eli Manning starting game 1 next year? I don't think so. I think that would be a bad idea. I think Daniel Jones would be a bad idea. I think Will Grier would be a great idea.
So you like not to cut you off. So you like Will Grier at 6, not 32.
No, I again, to the Patriots, that would work.
You like
I mean,
it
if you
there
could
at
get him
32.
at 32, again, you might be able to get Will Grier if you waited a little bit into the second round.
It's interesting that you say that because I think that if you read a lot of the pundits, you would expect that Will Grier was going to be available maybe in the second round or later. But if you talk to the people within the National Football League, you will know that they are much higher on Will Grier than those that are writing about the draft. Will Grier is a guy that has impressed in the meetings with these teams, and he played really big in his biggest moments of the season last year, mainly in his two toughest opponents against Texas, which we were there for that game in Austin, and against Oklahoma to finish up the year.
It was a Friday night, and I watched it. He put on a show.
It was a
against
show.
The bad defense, but he put on a show.
Granted, it was a terrible defense, but he threw for 900 yards, 7 touchdowns, no interceptions combined in those 2 games. He's mature. He's very mature after what he had to deal with early in his college career, and then going. He's got a child now. He is a very mature guy.
By the way, he had a PD suspension at Florida and ended up transferring to West Virginia.
He grew up a lot from that. Now, some of the knocks on Will Grier are more related to the system and specifically how Dana Holgorsen, his head coach, kind of coached the system. He held the ball, Shannon, a lot in the pocket, waiting for the big shot down the field. Because of that, he took some unnecessary sacks and risks late in what I would call or deem the shot clock. I like Will a lot. NFL people like Will a lot. And because of that development, maybe for a couple of years behind Tom, is why I thought he was a great fit there at number 32.
I like it.
Let me go now to Dwayne Haskins. I'm going to defend Dwayne because Dwayne could only operate and execute the plays that were being called. All right?
Okay.
And they were – Ohio State last year was in a internal war, not a malicious war, but an internal tug of war about style of offense.
Right.
Because what Urban had done for his entire career and what he was comfortable with is not what Dwayne was really good at and what his skill set lent itself to. And so they were constantly trying to find the happy medium, and what you ended up seeing is a guy late in the year blossom. Okay, once that tug of war ultimately played out, this guy was playing the best football in the country, even with Kyler Murray out there in his last 3 games. We saw that on full display against Michigan, albeit a dink and dunk, yes, but what do you do against a man-to-man coverage when you've got all those track stars? You run them across the field.
Right.
That's a game plan.
Just give them the ball.
That's right, and he did that, and he did that beautifully. In order to get yards after the catch, you've got to have great timing and great ball placement. And that's what equals yards after the catch. He was able to do that. He doesn't deal with pressure great or very well within the pocket. His footwork needs some development. That's why I like him to the Giants, because I don't think he's got to start week 1 for the New York Giants. I think he can develop over time. And his character, his stature, and his style, I think, fit New York, what Gettleman wants, their GM, and that's why I put him there. And I will say this again, I'm going to circle back on this. New York took the best football player in the draft last year, in Saquon Barkley, and it was the wrong pick for them. What good does Saquon Barkley do for you if you don't have the future at quarterback? You have got to address that position. If they don't at the number 6 pick or in a trade, maybe with Arizona, we'll see, then who cares if you have Saquon Barkley?
Are you sure about Sam Darnold?
I'm pretty sure about Sam Darnold.
I'm not completely convinced.
I'm
Okay,
almost
because you're saying they
certainly
should have
convinced.
taken Sam Darnold.
No question about it. Yeah, no question.
I think the guy that's tailor-made for the Patriots is Irv Smith Jr. They lose Gronkowski. He can block, and Coach Belichick knows guys that come out of Alabama.
Yeah.
He knows they're going to be disciplined.
He had the Bama shirt on.
Yeah,
That pro day.
he knows they're going to be hard workers. Skip, the Patriots have 6 of the top 101 picks. So they have a first rounder, 2 2s, and 3 3s. They have the ammunition to move up or down or to accumulate more picks if they see someone they like.
That is
But
true.
what I've noticed about them when it comes to selecting a quarterback, they believe is more system tuned. So they don't need a guy that's great that needs to make plays off script. Tom Brady's not running around, rolling to his left and throwing the ball here and there. He plays on script. And so they saying it's our system. I don't see them looking at a quarterback and says, wow, he's just a must-have. Because they feel they can go get a quarterback in the 2nd round or the 3rd round and be just as good as these guys because of the way they coach them in New England. So I think Irv Smith would be perfect for them. But I agree with you on the Giants. They got to get a quarterback somehow, whether you trade or whether you borrow one for a year. But you need a quarterback. Now, it looks like they might be interested in Josh Rosen, but the thing is that draft picks doesn't seem to have the same cachet they once did, unless you're Khalil Mack and you're going to give up 2 first-rounders. Skip, because if you wait till the draft, if you got a car and you buy the exact type of car, I know you got to get rid of this old one. I'm not going to give you what you wanted for it before you got the new one.
That's right.
So the longer you hold on to him, Arizona, you're not fooling anybody. Talking about, oh, we like Josh Rosen and we think he can be a great player. Yada, 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 yada. Yeah, we know, but we're not buying that. Go ahead and trade him because that's what you're going to do. But I believe you'll get the most bang for your buck now as opposed to waiting close to the trade deadline.
You know what?
I think that there are three teams that I have heard and I know are very interested in Josh Rosen, and that's New England, that's the New York Giants, and that's the LA Chargers. And one of those have already offered a second-round pick.
It better not be New England. Josh Rosen would be a disaster in New England.
Yeah.
I'm just telling.
Disaster.
This is Big J, as Colin says it. Those are the 3 teams that have expressed some interest. There is one of those that has offered firmly a second-round pick for Josh Rosen. Arizona is waiting for a first. I don't think they'll get it.
They're
I'm
not
with
getting
you.
it. No.
But right now, there's a second-round pick on the table. So he's going to get moved. Just what's the price? I think they're kind of waiting for the timing and ultimately what is that second-round pick, but I don't think that they're going to get a first for him.
Josh Rosen, low football intangibles. That's just me.
Yeah.
You've never been really high.
Backbone.
Well, you better trade it while the price high is like gold. You keep waiting, it will go to $1,000 an ounce, and it could come down to $400 an ounce.
And everybody knows they're not just going to keep him in the garage.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
the car analogy.
So you know what my conclusion is to
What?
all this? If the New York Giants, with the 6th overall pick, took Will Grier, I would have no issue with it. Seriously. Sometimes you have to think way outside the box. He's the second best quarterback. I think he's a little better than Dwayne Haskins, maybe a lot better. And I think he would fit in New York.
Well,
also.
both of them might be a little better than Eli is right now.
Well, but okay, I'll give you that. I will give you that. But you could throw Will Grier into the starting lineup in New York in Game 1, and he would be just fine.
I don't know, Skip.
The stage would not be too big for him.
Morgantown, West Virginia is a long way from
That's a
Big
long
Apple,
way.
New
No,
York.
but he
That's a long
started
way.
out in Gainesville, Florida, with a lot of heat. Man, he was
True.
a highly sought,
Yeah.
highly
5-star.
recruited. Yeah, he was a
I know,
five-star.
Nash probably hopes he's in New York. That's one of his brothers. He's got like millions
Yeah, I
of
know.
Instagram
Millions.
followers.
He's like,
Millions.
it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's the future. What all the cool kids are doing, Shannon.
So,
Even you would be
Shannon,
jealous of his
last quick
Instagram
point.
followers.
A Will Grier?
Wait,
Yeah.
you
No,
want-
Nash. Anyways.
Wait a second. So you want Tom Brady to get the 3rd best tight end in the draft? Is that what you want? Because the 2 Iowa kids are going to
Well,
go high.
I don't think
They
that
are
they're going to
good.
get
You don't think
down to New England. I don't think T.J. Hawkinson you're referring to and Noah Fant,
Yeah.
both
Fant,
from
yeah.
Iowa. Fant's a little bit more athletic, more splashy.
Yeah.
Hawkinson is kind of a do-everything
Right.
guy.
All
Irv
right.
Smith.
We'll have
I
to
like
see.
Irv.
I don't think those two. I don't think they'll make it all the way down.
Well, I know they. I'm just saying. So you want the 3rd best tight end in New England?
They're not moving up to select the tight end.
How did Iowa have the 2 best tight ends in the country on the
I
same
like
team?
those kids. We got to see them this year,
We
too.
got to see them in
Yeah.
person. They were really good.
All right, we will have to see. Good stuff, Joel. It's always fun to talk about this.
That
All right,
was
Cliff
pretty good,
Kingsbury. That was nice of you. Well, Cliff's got a new
The timestamp
policy,
on that?
guys,
How'd that
for the
work?
millennials. And so, Shannon, I'm going to have to use this policy on you later, but we're going to tell you everything he is doing next.
No mercy.
So new Cardinals coach Cliff Kingsbury is already making changes in Arizona. Kingsbury said yesterday that he'll allow cell phone breaks every 20 to 30 minutes during team meetings. He implemented this at Texas Tech, adding, quote, they need to get that social media fix, so we'll let them hop over there and then get back in the meeting and refocus. That is the world we live in, guys. Shannon, do I need to implement the policy around you? What do you make of this?
Charlie, y'all need to do something about this. I mean, we owed 2.5 hours, Skip. I need a break.
Yeah, but you get one every like 12 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And
I do?
Through every break, you just stay on your phone.
He doesn't
This
talk.
is ridiculous, Skip. But if this is where we headed, is this these
sad.
these millennials? Is it now to the point?
You're they.
No, I ain't. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, no, I couldn't do
Yes,
that.
you are.
No,
you
no,
just
no.
live on your phone.
They say,
What-
yeah.
what are they saying?
They say, man, they say you killing Skip today, man.
Really?
I say appreciate that.
Really?
Yeah, that what they
Sees
say.
the words of
Skip, this is
encouragement.
ridiculous. And you know it, Skip. Now, come on, really? You're there to work. What do you expect?
I thought you were going to applaud this like
No!
it's necessary because we're all addicted. That's
Skip, it drove me crazy that guys, as soon as they get out of the meeting, they go to the locker and get on the phone. Skip, why I want to talk to anybody on the phone? What you doing, Shannon? You know what the hell I'm doing. I'm at work. What you doing that you can call me?
You've got 2 phones out here. Skip, what are we doing?
I know.
Lord have mercy.
Oh, is that a secret?
Skip, will you please stop this?
What if Charlie and Wick came down and said no more cell phones on the desk? Would you need to go to rehab?
I feel like you'd start nervous,
no, seriously.
sweating.
I mean, I just like the lights. It's just light up in my. But it's funny, Skip, because when I'm home, the phones are faced. I don't even have my ringer on. You know my ringer's never on.
So that's why you never take my calls.
God, I know you call it with a bull jive.
But you tweet a lot too, Skip.
I
don't know
tweet.
if you're
You tweet a lot.
But I don't
That's your
read.
phone.
And you on IG.
Have you seen me look at my phone during breaks? No, I
No.
go over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, true. I have no idea what you're doing.
And
over
Tyler
there.
got the big computer screen up.
I check my phone to make sure Ernestine didn't text me to say your collar's sticking out or
that's
something.
nice of her to look out for
okay,
you.
so that's all. That's
Yeah,
all I need.
okay.
But here's my point about Cliff, and I love Cliff. He's a great guy, and I'm happy he got this job. I'm still not sure how he got this job. He went 35 and 40 in
Yes.
6 seasons at Texas Tech in Lubbock, Texas.
How many
and
national championships in there?
He did not. He went to 3 bowl games, and he lost 2 of the 3.
Okay.
And he got fired by Texas Tech, and that somehow qualified him to be the new head coach of the Arizona Cardinals.
But he had a stop in
Okay.
between at USC OC.
Okay,
Quick.
it was brief, but
walk by.
But you're right. He did have an in-between stop. But the point is that, what do you think Bill Belichick did when he read this? Like, Cliff's going to revolutionize the way the NFL is coached with a new rule. I think Belichick shook his, shake my head, SMH, right?
Yeah.
Skip,
Okay.
I recommend that no one that's on the Patriot roster take this idea to Coach Belichick. Because there's a good chance, he's going to throw you and your phone out on your head.
I would think everybody would. I would think Sean Payton would. As player-friendly as Pete Carroll is, I think he would say, nope, not on my watch.
And that's the thing, and I get it. Look, we started meetings at 9 o'clock when I was in Denver. So we go from 9. Mike would have his big meeting that would probably last anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes.
Mike Shanahan.
Then we break up as an offensive
Yep.
unit. Then we break up in individual meetings. Tight end go to their room, O-line go to their room, yada, yada, yada.
And by the way, what drove you out of pro football? Those
The
meetings.
meetings.
Okay, you didn't like.
You know what? I'm about to play. Now, if Cliff Kingsbury had been my coach and kept giving me media break, Skip, this is ridiculous. It drove me crazy to see the guys, and Mike knew who they were. He's like, guys, it's not good that as soon as you get out of meetings, you run to the phone, or you check your phone, or you go get, because we used to have phones in the building that you could use also, or you get on these phones. I'm like, dude, who are you talking to this time of the morning that can talk to you? Because if you can talk to them, you don't need to be talking to them because they ain't got no job.
Okay. What if there had been Instagram during your time with the Broncos? Shannon Sharpe would have been posting every breakfast that he ate on Instagram, and then he would need a cell phone break to go check and see how many likes that his picture got.
Skip,
Am I right?
Look,
Am I right? Yes,
No,
says Jenny.
I've been eating the same breakfast, egg whites and oatmeal,
all right.
since 1993. That has not changed.
Well, why do you keep showing us that if it's the same every day?
I'm going to change it up. You know what? I'm going to have something different tomorrow.
Okay.
No.
Can't wait.
I don't know. What can I get? Maybe, I don't know. I'm going to get something different. I'm going to surprise everybody.
Egg souffle? I don't know. No? Eggs Benedict.
I used to like eggs Benedict.
Okay. You can't eat ham. You can't eat it.
Why I can't?
Because it's no good for you.
Man, I eat everything.
Strict over here.
I eat everything on the pig except the squeal.
Really?
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't eat on the pig.
Good to know. Good to know.
The snout, the pigtail. Man, pigtails and collard greens, you don't eat that? Huh? You don't eat pigtails? You ever had a
Not
pig ear?
every day.
What about pig ear sandwich?
Not-
Anybody
I don't think that
pig ear
tastes-
sandwich? Can it interest anybody in pig ear
Sorry,
sandwich?
no more
Lipstick on a
pigs
pig.
around here. Okay.
That's the Lakers.
Speaking of distractions, why are the Raiders so opposed to being on Hard Knocks? We'll discuss that next.
No mercy.
Time for our final topic of the day. The Raiders really don't want to be on Hard Knocks. They are one of 5 teams that are eligible to be picked. But owner Mark Davis said yesterday the show would be disruptive. He even joked that he would fire John Gruden, then hire him back after another team is chosen, since a team with a first-year coach can't be selected. So, Shannon, are you surprised the Raiders don't want to be on Hard Knocks?
A little bit, but I think John Gruden, sometimes I think the animations on the sideline, Skip, is a little little sketchy. You know, he doing the Chucky, the scowl, and so we just see more of it. I believe of all the teams, if you've already been on Hard Knocks, Skip, I think moving forward, everybody else should have to have a year on Hard Knocks. Be it the Patriots, be it the Packers, everybody should have to do it. You just can't keep saying, well, oh, Coach Belichick doesn't want to do it. Oh, the Packers, I don't care.
Okay.
Everybody should have to do it at least once.
Yeah.
I know one new Raider who will campaign to be on Hard Knocks, and that is one Mr. Big Chest, right?
Yes.
One
Yep.
AB. And the reason John Gruden and Mark Davis do not want to be on Hard Knocks is because of Mr. Big Chest, because they feel like he would go completely out of control over the edge.
But look at the options, Skip. The 49ers, Raiders, Giants, Redskins, Lions. What players are compelling, with the exception of Antonio Brown, on any of those squads? Oh, you want to see what Eli eats in the morning? You want to hear Eli in the huddle?
I know, but you got Gruden and you got Beast Mode maybe coming back. That would work.
Okay,
They're the best.
the Raiders. But the
Well, yeah,
49ers,
they're the best.
Washington.
They said they don't want it either.
Matt Patricia?
Okay. No. It's
No,
going to
thank
be hard to do.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports. One of one.